Hello. Can you hear me? No? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Good morning. Good afternoon.
I'm still trying to figure out how to get the headsets to work. The new headsets. Let everyone in. Hi, everyone. Go ahead and write in the chat. Go in. I'm opening the door. Everyone, I'm going to put on these headsets. Oh, try them on.
Without video.
Hello?
Yeah. Trying to figure out how to get this. I need to buy another pair of headsets. This is driving me crazy. Every time I try to get this one to connect. It's not working. Oh, well. Let's see.
Well,
Okay. Still, I have too many things. Okay, can somebody say something to see if I hear you through the headsets?
Yes, we can hear you.
hello, hello.
Everybody's gonna start talking. Can you hear us?
Okay,
Salvi,
there it goes.
second.
Now I can hear you through the headsets.
Okay, good.
All right. Cool. Now let's get my computer. Oh, in the meantime, I forgot to keep admitting people. Hold on. Admit. Okay. This headset situation is driving me crazy. I just need to go and get myself a cable for these that starts working because they're much easier to use. All right. Hi. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Where do you get the cable?
I guess I have to get on Amazon, or I don't know. We don't shop in person anymore with this COVID. I guess I could go.
You help me by bringing in the boxes and putting them right there.
What's
Call the
that?
Call the Mac mechanic. He might have it.
Yeah, no, it's just a regular cable that can, this isn't a Mac thing. It's just headsets that have an actual two-headed cable, like a sound audio cable kind of thing, like forever. But I don't know if it's the cable or my headset or whatever that needs to. It's actually not a computer thing, it's an audio thing. So anyway, what's up? All right, so welcome. I have a question. How many,
Whoops.
Debbie, things like this, I can
And I'm trying to find where I'm muted again. Can't do that.
yeah.
He's
You
listening
have,
twice.
so Debbie, on your
Yeah.
computer,
The one
Uh-huh.
that put it in was this
mute
one. Wouldn't go
above
in.
the microphone icon, and there's a little triangle.
No, you
There we
have,
go.
Okay.
I don't know where you
And
have.
that's,
I
okay, someone else is talking.
wanted to work on this on
I
that
know.
Okay, I'm
computer.
gonna mute everyone because there's people in the background talking. I just muted everyone. Debbie is trying to fix her computer from doing that double thing. On the bottom left, where you see the big mute button, there's a little up arrow that if you click, pulls up a menu and it says, and allows you to leave computer audio from your second computer or from your first computer, from the one that, whichever one you choose, as long as you hear you through only one of them. Did that work? I muted you from everywhere, so I don't know if it worked, but yeah, I see that your icon for sound disappeared on the other one. So there we go. All right. Sorry, there were sounds in the background. I was trying to communicate with Debbie. Sorry. Everyone who if you all notice, you're all muted now. So if you want to speak, you need to unmute yourselves. Okay. So, oh, you're welcome, Yolanda. Yeah, I have this automatic reminder that goes out. It's not me reminding you. It is me. I have to spend hours setting it up, but it reminds everyone to class. The only problem with setting it up that way is that when people join the class late, then I have to go and like, Bonnie, you're here today, but last week I hadn't added you to that list. So, all right. Oh, Bonnie was there a second ago and there she is. Moved. So, all right. So if everyone's checking in on the chat and everyone, I had some emails from a couple of you guys and I want to, yes, hi. No, I just had to remind my family that the blend, whenever they start the blender, or in this case, it was a coffee grinder, it just bzzz into my ear and I can't hear you guys. So just remind me, I just had to remind them I'm starting to teach. Okay. I just finally met some people that I work with in person today for the, Emma Cruz, some of you know her, who I'm always sending people when they need help. I haven't seen her in more than a year and a half. And I went to pick up something from her that's for this class. I finally saw her in person. I was almost in tears. I haven't been in person with people for so long. I don't know if you've all been able to see people, but this is one of my first times, so it was kind of cool.
It's a strange feeling, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And hopefully it stays this way. But the reason, what I'm saying is that I actually picked up for the first time ever of teaching all these classes. They actually got me an iPhone to teach with, because I'm always sharing my iPhone with all my personal stuff. And now that the classes are getting recorded, it feels very uncomfortable. And so finally, after many years of asking, I have an actual iPhone that I will be using to share, but I need to set it up. So, so not today, but that was all to remind you to grab your iPhones, because that's where we left last week. We were talking about
The cloud.
to connect the cloud. And so for today, I'll still be using my phone. The thing is that my phone is set up the way it is, and I don't want to mess up with it for class. But with the sample one, I'll be able to change things to show you how things work or not without messing up my own data, which is what I wanted to do. Because when I turn things on or off to show them to you on mine, that truly affects my data. And I wanted to be able to do it with things that were not important. So now I'm set up by Thursday, it'll have hopefully the teaching account, and I'll be able to show you things there. All right. So one thing I found out today that I didn't know, because I'm not an iPad owner, but how many of you guys have iPads? Okay. If you have iPads, you can mirror it as a second monitor to your computer. So those of you who are connecting with your iPad and are connecting with your computer, you could actually connect only once, which is easier on the whole Zoom situation, and have it just mirror as a second one. And I'm just going to show you that really quickly, because actually a lot of you raised your hands. So so maybe it's something that I didn't want it to apply to just a few, but since many of you raised your hands, for the future, for you to know, you know how I've shown you that I have one computer and I connect other monitors to it. I'm showing you my system preferences here. I discovered something that I didn't know existed. So, and I looked it up yesterday. I wanted to know what is this thing called Sidecar. So down here, this is on, you have to have Catalina. So anyone who has older systems in Catalina, doesn't work. But as of Catalina and Big Sur, down here in these connections where it says displays, there's this thing called Sidecar. And so displays would be, if you look at my displays arrangement, see, I have 3 displays connected to my computer. This is my main computer, and I have another monitor here on the left where I'm seeing you now, another one on the right where I have other stuff. And this is how I put them, because when I move my mouse, the height that they are arranged in, my little monitor on the right is higher. So I put it higher instead of there, I put it there. So that's kind of what you do with monitors and stuff like that. In your case, if you have an iPad, there's this choice here called Sidecar, which allows you to connect your iPad as a sidecar monitor. So you can have it on the left or on the bottom. And if anyone has an Apple Pencil, I don't know. I don't have one, so it's not connected. But if you had it and it turned it on, you could connect it. And then it would be where you could put me talking to you as Zoom, and then you'd have your whole screen open to working with. So anyway, I linked to a website that has instructions. If anyone is interested in that, send me an email and I'll go find that instructions page and send it to you and see if you guys can connect it for this class and for the future. So you don't have to have 2 Zoom connections, and it might be useful for other things as well. For some people, the 2 Zoom connections makes the computer really slow. All right, so as I said, I can't show it to you because I don't have, and my kids have iPads that they were given at school, but those are very restricted at school. The iPads I give them are kind of locked down to be, not available to playing games and things like that because they are for school. So there's things they don't do. I don't know, I could try and see if it does that here and someday show you guys. But anyway, I just wanted to show you that. So, all right. That said, maybe you already knew it and you're already doing it. I don't know. That was news to me. So what I have open here is the system preferences. Okay. Now these are the system preferences of the Catalina system, which are relatively similar to the Big Sur, or very similar to the Big Sur. And they look a bit different for anyone who is older. So remember, if you have Mojave, and not anyone, any computer has an older system. You have Mojave or High Sierra. I'm trying to mention the ones that you guys I know have some. I think Lani has High Sierra. A few of you guys are on Mojave, and someone's on, I don't know if someone's on Yosemite, but I know Bill was in El Cap. So you would see this a bit differently. Okay, so when things are different, ask me and I'll tell you if it's because of your different system or if there's just something missing or whatever. But in general, it's missing. You know what? I'm seeing now that Donna said yes. Send me sidecar info. The class finishes and I don't see the chat anymore. Okay, so you need to email me. This won't work. You can email me later. Take yourself a note. Email me later. But you can also actually Google. All I did is I Googled sidecar for Mac OS. What is that for iPad? And an article that explained it really well came up. But I can send you the link to that article. But I need you to email me because I don't see this request later, and I won't know that Donna's that you asked me. Okay.
Anna?
Yes, Al.
Yeah, I went to system preferences and I've got Catalina and there's no sidecar on there. I don't know why, but I have not been able to email you and I haven't been able to get a hold of anybody. I am able to get the recordings, but I don't get your email and I can't send you email through Pipeline. I don't know why.
Wow. Okay. I don't know what to I don't know the reason for that, but you have to deal with here. Let me connect with my other computer because here I don't have it set up, but I'll put in all the notes, all the link. I'll give you if you look at the emails that I sent you at the beginning, there's a link to get to the IT student tech support. I have it on my other account here, but I'll switch and then I'll send it to you from my other computer. For anyone who has questions about Pipeline, that they're the ones who can fix it. I can do nothing. So if your Pipeline isn't connecting or anything, now you're seeing the recordings because I'm emailing them to you. I emailed them to you last week, but I'm going to stop sending them after the first 2 weeks. It's up to you to find them. So the first week. So if you can't access Pipeline, you can't access the handouts, you won't be able to access the recordings. So go ahead and connect to the tech support I've sent just about every email the first week, and the one before the starting of the class, like the 3 or 4 emails that I sent you, I always send the student ID, student IT tech support Zoom. Okay, this is for everyone. So check those emails. And if you have any issues with your computer that have to do with Pipeline or Zoom or VDI, which you guys aren't using, but some of you guys are in my classes where I do that, they can help you. What they don't help you is with personal computer problems. And they've had to email me again and again telling me, I've told you we don't do personal computers and your students keep asking for personal stuff. I'm like, "Oh." So they keep chastising me and I keep going, hey, just because they're there and they ask you, don't tell me, right? So it's not personal computer stuff, but it's anything that has to do with the connecting to the classes and Pipeline and stuff like that they can help you with, okay?
Okay.
I don't have access to anything that has to do with Pipeline, so I can't help you with that. It's a completely different, it's admissions. It's nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know why you wouldn't have sidecar. Now, since you said that, is anyone else not seeing this sidecar thing here? Is it just Al, or do other people not see it either? This is what I mean. Is anyone else not seeing it?
It's under system preferences.
Yes, and by the way, open your system preferences, since that's where we left last week and where we're going to continue being today. So open system preferences, and if you need to remember how to do that, either go to the Apple icon and pull down the menu and click on system preferences, or go to your dock and go to the little gears icon, and that's your system preferences. And then down here, it says sidecar, displays and sidecar. The idea of this class, so Lonnie, you mentioned you couldn't get to the handouts. You sent me an email with something you were trying to download. Not sure. You weren't able to get to them, or you weren't able to download them? Did you get to the folder, the shared folder, the shared drive? Or you weren't able to get, your sound is off, so I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Wasn't
Yes.
able to even.
Do you hear me now?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, I was able to, get your instructions about how to get the handouts, but when I tried to follow it, I must not have had the right page when I went to svcc.edu, because there was none of the things that you were telling me to click on were there, like the
Okay.
non-credit thing. And
Okay, so have you ever been a credit student?
no.
Okay, because then the only difference for those of you who have ever been a credit student, instead of the word non-credit student, it says student. That's all. That's the only difference. Okay, I just wanted to mention that. Okay, how many other people, and I really need a show of hands, need to know how to get to the handouts, and I will be happy to demonstrate it. Otherwise, I will send you again a recording. So remember, I clicked in the videos that I sent you. I send recordings. You don't need to listen to the whole class. I send you a link specifically, which is a recording of just me showing you how to get to the handouts. Have you tried that recording?
Yes.
Okay, so then anyone else who can't reach them, I just want to see if it's a problem with Lonnie's account, or if it's an issue with getting there. Donis, you can't get there either, and you've done the videos and you've tried everything and you can't get there?
No, I couldn't.
Okay, so how about this? Since it's only 2 of you guys, I won't spend class time. What I'll do is during when class is over, I'll spend class is over, I'll spend the last 5 minutes of class and then spill over to the rest, showing you guys how to do that, okay?
Okay.
Because everyone else knows how to do it. I don't want to spend a long time doing that. But I want to make sure that everyone truly does know how to get to the handouts, because that's from now on where you get the class recordings. Because if you're going, oh, it's okay, I don't need them. If you're going to get to the class recordings, you need to know how to get to the handouts. So if that's you, please stay at the end. And I'm going to send myself a timer right now, so that, not a timer, but an alarm. So classes are at 4:40, so I'm going to put myself a 4:30 alarm. That's the only way I'll notice to stop and explain handouts. There you go. So at 4:30, I'll be reminded, and I'll give me a few minutes to close out the class and then explain how to get to the handouts. Okay. Now, how many of you guys use Siri or know what Siri is? So let me clear out those hands. Remember about the feedback, the buttons, you know, so say yes or raise your hand if you use Siri. Okay. So either you don't know how to find the icons or only a few of you guys use Siri. So
You asked a double question. I know what Siri is, but I don't really want to listen to her and I don't use it. So that's why.
Oh, okay.
All
right.
I didn't know what to do with that.
I said two things. Okay. I meant to say how many of you guys use Siri. Okay. And yes, it's possible that some of you also don't even know what it is, and that's why you don't use it, or that you don't want to use it, like Carol. So here's the thing. I've known about Siri forever and I never used it. But there is someone living in my house, you know, we host foreign students, and she kept using it for something all the time. And I was like, oh, I use Siri all the time. And then it occurred to me that for some things it's really useful. So I'm going to just show you guys a quick example of using Siri. Siri, first of all, let me explain to it, is your phone and your computer. So this is part of the Mac class. On the outline it says to teach Siri, and I never do because I didn't find as much the utility. But you can speak at your computer, or you can speak at your phone, which is, I don't see the point of speaking at my computer. I'm at it, I can write it. But sometimes my hand, for example, my hands are dirty, I'm cooking or something, right? And you want to set an appointment, set an alarm. And typically, and I'm saying cooking because typically I'm cooking, right? And then suddenly I need to remind myself that I have to set the 10 minutes for the oven or something like that, right? I found that that's the most useful use for me for Siri. So I've got like egg in my hands or whatever, and I need to remind myself that I need to do something for, you know, turn off the oven in 10 minutes. So I'll just tell my phone, and you guys, right now my phone is on my hands, and I'm going to say, hey Siri. My phone just turned on and said, yeah. And I'm like, set timer for 10 minutes. Okay, and then my timer is set for 10 minutes. It's so cool for a few of those things, right? Now, some people might want to say, hey Siri, what's the weather today? Or hey Siri, how long will it take me?
Partly cloudy and 18 degrees.
Oh,
expect clear skies starting in the afternoon.
Started talking to me.
Temperatures ahead of
Okay, yeah, shut up. Just me saying it as an example, and it started telling me the weather today. So anyway, I just wanted you to know that it exists. If you don't know that it exists and it's not worked for you, it can be turned on. So over here in the system preferences, so showing you again my system preferences, right at the very top, this is Siri, okay? So you turn this on and you can enable Ask Siri in case you have not enabled it, if you don't have it enabled. And now this is just for your computer though. And eons ago, my son found it funny to put me, I have a British male as my sound, in case you recognize some down there, the voice that sounded, so you can make it sound like whatever you want it to sound like. But the whole thing is that I've never used it for my computer.
You know, it'd be great to learn a language, because Siri could talk back at you in whatever language you want to know the weather in.
Well, but for that you have to tell your computer to be
no, I see the language thing. I'm just
this is, if you tell it to speak to you in Spanish or in Finnish or in something else, yeah, it'll answer back in any of those languages. But if you don't, if you leave it in English, there's still different accents that you might hear your answer in. And it's kind of funny because I don't know if anyone knows about the series, British series Doctor Who, which is kind of weird. Some people might love it or not, but we love a doctor here. So I feel like Doctor Who speaks to me on my phone. Anyway, now, as you can see, I have it enabled for this, for the phone, but not for that. So it's the same thing. The point I'm trying to make right now is that, as we left last week, the system preferences that you have here on your computer are equivalent to the settings on your phone, okay? So everyone go to your phone and open your settings. And I'm
Is
going
this
to,
true? Deanna, is
What's
this
that?
true for Androids also or just iPhones?
I don't know of Android. Yeah, I mean, and Google of all people has the whole Alexa and all those things. So I'm assuming that Android phones have some kind of Alexa-ish thing put in them. I don't know,
Okay,
actually. I'm pretty sure. Does anyone else have an Android here? I have an Android that I was given as a hotspot. I could check it out, but I don't know the answer to that one.
okay,
So,
okay.
sorry. But yeah, it's you know, does anyone else have any of those Alexas, or there's all these different things that you put in your house that you speak at and they help you? Does anyone else have any of those? Google has one too, Google Home, I think it's called. I don't know. I don't use those. But anyway, the main thing I was trying to show you is the similarities, okay? So now you go to the settings on your phone, and when you first come upon the settings, and I can't share my screen with you, my phone for a second yet, because I'm having it's doing an update when I connect it. But at the very top, when you see, if you're in some other place, if you're still in the iCloud, we were last week, the very top left of your screen, you have a back arrow. So go back all the way until you see the word settings at the very top. So what you want to see is the word settings, and that's your home. That's the equivalent to what we're seeing on the desktop. That's your home screen for your phone. Is the settings is this one that we're seeing on the computer right now. Yeah, the one that Carol's showing. There we go. Oh, that's a good. Oh no, I can't do that because I've got that blur. So anyway,
I don't know if
Carol's
it
showing it.
worked. Here.
Can you show it again, but make noise because people can't see your screen unless you're.
Oh,
they
okay.
see
Here
me.
I am chatting away. I'm
we
holding
go.
up my screen.
Okay, so
and
that's
I'm
the
moving
screen
it
you
back
need to
so
see.
can see the whole screen. There you go.
Perfect. So that settings that Carol is showing is the same place that I am showing here on the system preferences. So is everyone there with your phone and with your computer?
Yes.
All right. So this space on your phone, if you start scrolling down, first it has this airplane mode, then a few more notifications, and then you get to general. That place, that general, has a lot of the things that you have here. It has the accessibility, wallpaper, Siri and search, battery, privacy, all those things. And then as you keep moving down, it goes to the App Store, mail, contacts, calendar, notes, reminders, phone, messages, FaceTime, Safari. All those apps that you see down there are basically what you see on the dock on your computer, on your Mac. So mail, contacts, calendar, notes, reminders, voice and memos. Yes?
I think I'm lost. So I am on this, which is the icons.
Okay.
Oh, it's
So click on the settings.
settings.
There
And
you
what
go.
I had airplane mode, but I cannot find the Siri. I scrolled.
Okay, so keep scrolling down. I'm now, my update has happened. I can now share my iPhone. It wasn't letting me for a second, but it just updated. Okay, so now I'm sharing my iPhone. So here's my settings. It took a second when I connected it. It told me I had to do an update and it just did it.
Okay.
Okay, so here I am. I'm showing you my iPhone now. And at the very top, start scrolling down, and here's so everyone, if you've got lost, scroll at the very top and then kind of try to look at yours and mine. And at the top it says airplane, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and then notification, sounds, do not disturb, and then general, control center. So you keep going. Oh, and here under general is where you see Siri, right here, Siri and search. Okay. Middle right under wallpaper. Okay. Do you see that now, Yolanda? So are you in settings? Show me your phone. Yolanda, put your phone towards the camera. Okay, if, yeah, I see that you have the settings there. So are you scrolling down? Basically, all I did is scroll down from the top. So here's the beginning and I just scroll down to general. And then, right there, there's Siri. Okay. Now, this is one of the many, many things that we can change, but there's that one. There's Siri. All right. Did you find it now, everyone? Did anyone not find it? Okay. So now when you click on Siri, here's where you can turn it off so it's not working at the very top, or you turn it on. And so I didn't mean to turn it off, but when you do turn it off and turn it on, then it says, set up Hey Siri. So it recognizes your voice. So then you say continue and you have to say Siri a few times. So now I'm messing it up because I'm speaking about something else. So I'm going to cancel and do it again. Hey Siri. Hey Siri, send a message. Hey Siri, how's the weather today? Hey Siri, set a timer for 3 minutes. Hey Siri, play some music. That's it. That's how you set it up. So I just said what it told me to say, and your phone becomes accustomed to your voice in order to recognize you. So all I did is I kept saying what it told me to say, and your phone is recording your voice, and now it's ready for me to actually say. So now I'm going to actually say, hey Siri, and boom, see how that little thing turned off at the bottom, that little thingy there, and it's waiting for me to say something. So I'm going to say set a timer for 5 minutes. Thing is,
Sorry, I missed that. Could you say it again, please?
set a timer for 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes and counting.
Cool, that's it. And in 5 minutes, it's gonna have a timer, okay? But since I was talking at you, it got confused. So you have to just say the sentence and not keep talking. So now, if you guys wanna give it a try to set it up, make sure your sound, your computer's sound is turned off so that we don't all hear her say Siri, it doesn't confuse me, or is this something you can set up later? But Carol, you were waving your hand?
Yeah, I just was curious because if you say, hey Siri, play some music, what does it just go into your music files, or is that just a test?
Well, those sentences it made me say was just to recognize my voice.
Okay, that's what I was
It
asking.
wasn't me asking it. But if
Okay.
now I say, hey Siri, play some music, it would probably go into my music files. I don't know, let's see. Hey Siri, play some music.
All right, shuffling music from your library.
Okay, there's the answer.
And so then it starts playing something from my library. There you go. So
Okay, just curious.
I guess I don't use it for that, but I guess you can have it play a song. You can actually, if you know the name of a song that you have, let me see. Hey Siri, play Bohemian Rhapsody from Queen.
I didn't find Bohemian Rhapsody from Queen on Apple Music.
Darn it. But it could have. Anyway, enough with the magic tricks. To say the truth, many times, here's the thing. More and more I am dependent on my glasses, and sometimes I find myself without my glasses around, and it's gotten to the point that I can't really type my keyboard without my reading glasses. So I think that taming Siri to perform a search or to give me someone's phone number or like to call, I say, whenever I'm driving, hey Siri, call my husband. I say, call Jack. Oh, it's turning on. Don't call him. Let me turn it off. Now it knows me. Now it wants to start doing whatever I tell it to do.
I think you've
So, yeah.
convinced me. I'm going to start using Siri.
I send messages.
I'll join
I'm driving
the
and I'll
British
go,
Butler Society.
I'm coming back from the store and I'm like, hey Siri, send a message to my family to be ready to unload my car. And I'm driving and they all get a text message going, mom's arriving, come to the driveway.
Siri is probably more cooperative than my family.
I know. Anyway, thing is, that's the phone, right? Now, you can do that to your computer as well. That's where have yet to find a utility, right? Because you're here in front of your computer. So yelling at your computer to make it do something, I don't know. But on the other hand, instead of going to the internet, going to the weather.com and checking the weather, you can just tell your computer, hey, Siri, what's the weather today, to your computer as well. If so, you would have to have it enabled to listen to your Hey Siri, okay? So now I'm gonna shift to the computer system preferences.
Just
There
one
we go.
question, Siri, Diana.
Yes.
So when you try, so okay, say Siri, send a message. So after that, shall we hit cancel at the very top? In my iPhone, there's a cancel over at the top. See that?
It's doing the thing. If you don't like the message you asked it to send, I guess you can cancel it. But right now,
Okay.
because Hey Siri is running, it's listening to everything we're saying, so it's getting confused. You need to have no
I see.
other. Oh, how funny. Vicky is writing that when I said Hey Siri, Vicky's iPad went, yeah, what can I do? What can I help you with? It's tuned in to me now. Vicky, I trained your Hey Siri. It is funny because I really began to use it last year when my Italian student was here. She'd be in the kitchen and she'd say, hey Siri, set timer for, and a couple of our phones would go, yes, because they didn't want to, everyone would set up a timer and I'm like,
I missed that. Could you say it
Oh.
again, please?
okay, I'm done saying those words because my phone keeps wanting to help me. Anyway, but I did want to show with you up here on the computer that this is where you enable it and you tell your computer to pay attention and stuff like that. Now, on a computer, right? How you make it work, right? You would either hold the command escape or hold the option escape or press the function space. So that would be how you would do it, right? Oh, there's my timer ringing in 5 minutes. You hear it? That's the timer that I set with Hey Siri. So hold the command and space. So now on my computer, I'm going to hold down. Look at your
Sorry.
keyboard.
I didn't quite catch that.
Okay, enough.
Could you please repeat?
Enough. By the way, this is because I'm teaching it, but how many times do you say those words in your regular life? You don't, and that's why it doesn't normally turn on. But now that I keep teaching you it, it keeps turning on, trying to, well, what do you want now, lady? And of course, my kids have fun asking that name weird questions like, what's the meaning of life? And you get some bizarre answer because it's set up for kids to play. So I'm going to do that now on my computer. I'm going to hold command and space. So go down to the command key, hold it down, and then hold down the space key. And did my Siri on my computer just turn on? And I'm going to share my entire screen so you'll see what I'm talking about. Hold on. The idea is to give you things that accessibility wise that might help you. So, okay. So I'm using the keyboard shortcut. I'm holding down my command key and my space bar.
I'm Siri.
And what? Oops, it's working for something. So I'm holding it down. And as soon as I do that, see how up here it says, what can I help you with? Are you seeing on my screen? And now since I'm talking, it's kind of just hearing all that I'm saying and it's recording it. So that's not a request. So I'm going to use this X to get rid of it. But now I'm going to do it for real. What's the weather today? And so it pulled up the weather. You see that?
No,
You see it on my screen?
no,
Am I not sharing
No.
my screen with you guys?
no, you're not.
That's
Not your
not-
phone
your-
screen.
No. Now it's on my computer. So, all right. So watch my computer screen. Now I'm sharing my computer with you, right?
Mhm.
Do you see my Catalina Island?
Yeah.
Here's the, no.
Right.
Okay, good. Yeah, you're seeing it. I'm checking. Suddenly I thought, am I not sharing? So this is where I'm moving my little window where the keyboard shortcut is hold command and space. That's what it's telling me to do. Okay, so watch here on the right side of my top right of my screen where notifications appear. Do you see my mouse pointing up here? I'm gonna now hold command and space for a second. The command key and the space key, the space bar. And to the left and to the right of the space bar, there's a key called command. Hold those two down. Okay, and when you hold those two down for a minute here, and I've just got Zoom in the way. It was working and now suddenly it stopped working. I think because I canceled it 3 times. There it is. See how it's saying, what can I help you with?
I'm Siri. Choose the voice
Okay,
you'd
there.
like me to use.
Is it working for anyone else?
Not for me. Say that I don't see to be able to get your current location.
We can't figure out what we're looking for.
Okay. In the system preferences, the second bar here says Siri. Turn on and get to this window. Is everyone here? Give me a no if you're not here. Okay. Can someone who's got a sound turn their sound off? Okay. Now, if you're all here, you can see that it says Siri helps you get things done, enable Siri. So you need to turn this on. If this is off, it won't work. So you have to enable Siri. You can then turn it off if you don't want it anymore. But okay, that needs to be turned on for this example. So I'm going to say enable. Now, I'm going to turn everyone's sound off for this because if you start practicing it, it's going to hear everyone's sounds. So I'm going to leave only my sound on. Okay, so hold on. I'm going to mute everyone. Okay, so now if you say things to Siri, it'll only hear your own voice. Okay, so Siri helps you things done. And it says how to access it. It's not yelling those 2 words that'll make my phone work. On the computer, you have to do a keyboard shortcut for it to work for you. And you can choose, maybe if you want a different one, maybe you want this one, you want that one, but I'm using the top one, which is hold command and space. So I'm going to hold down both command and space key on my keyboard. Okay, these 2 keys on my keyboard, I'm going to hold them down. And then I had to turn it off because the moment I speak, it starts recording. On the far right, so see my mouse going to the very far right of my screen over here? Do you see the far top right of my screen where my little mouse is? That's where notifications appear when your computer tells you you have updates or you have a message coming in or you have, where you see little note, those are notifications. Okay, look at that space because that's where Siri appears. Of course, the moment I'm trying to do the example, it's not working. Siri, what's the weather today? Is okay. And it's talking to me in my headset, it's telling me that it's partly cloudy and 64 degrees. So, okay, so I had to stop speaking to explain it because when I speak, Siri hears me and gets confused. Did it work for anyone else?
Not for me.
All right. I have a feeling that Zoom might be interrupting the process because what I needed to do was I needed to click on this box that's the finder for it to work. If you're in Zoom and clicking on Zoom, it's kind of getting in the middle of confusion. So watch the recording. A couple of people said yes. Al said yes. Vera is saying yes. If it worked for you, give me a thumbs up. Leslie says yes. A couple of you, it's working. If it's not, try it when we're not on Zoom. Okay, hold down those 2. And then, by the way, Yolanda is saying she can't understand my accent, so we don't use her. We're both frustrated. That thing that I went through of training your computer how you say, hey, Siri, that's how it kind of begins to get trained into your voice. I don't know. give it a try at trying that again and see if it works.
Diane,
Anyway, yes.
I check on show Siri in menu bar, which is my menu bar on my screen, my laptop screen, and it didn't go there. It is not there even if it's checked to show Siri in the menu bar. And also on top.
Wait, stop. Where does it say that? It's probably different than mine. Oh, here, show Siri in
right
menu bar.
there. But your
Okay, so stop for a minute, but let
Uh-huh.
me show you. Wait. So see this thing that says show Siri in menu bar?
uh-huh.
That's this little icon right there. So instead of having to hold, press and command, that little icon there, I click on it, that's Hey Siri. Look, if I turn this off, see how it's gone? There's
Uh-huh.
nothing there. If I turn it on, see that little round blue button?
I don't see
You turn
that.
it on without having to hold down the command key, the space key or anything with your mouse. You turn that on and then you say, Hey Siri, what time is it?
Can I share my screen to you so that
Hey
because
Siri, what
That
time
was
is
an
it?
easy one because I could see it there, but,
can you see my screen, Diana?
or I could, nope, I would have to have you share. So hold on.
Oh,
Let
it
me
just
stop my share.
okay.
Okay, now you go ahead and share your screen.
Can you see it now, Diana?
Hold on.
Okay, here.
I'm trying, there it is.
So
Okay,
see,
now I see it.
over on top, there's a square that says listen for Hey Siri. You didn't have that in yours. So I check on it and let me see. Oh, I see. Maybe I should have done that. Do you think I should have done that? Is that what I should have done?
You can, if you want it to listen to your voice, you can do that. Say cancel to that for a minute.
Cancel right there.
Okay, now I want to show you how at the very top right,
Top right.
go to the right of where it says Yolanda Montaro on your finder, top right of your screen, the entire top right of your screen.
Right here, right
Yeah,
here.
so right at the end of your last name, there's a little round black circle.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay. So the Siri.
Go click on it. Go click on it. Click and hold.
Click and hold. I'm sorry. Shall I
Go
hold?
try again. Yeah, go click. I don't know. You click, go up to that same black thing. Yeah. Click again.
Oh,
You're probably not, are you sharing, did you get something there that starts recording your words or not? I don't see it.
no, that's why, and because one time I got upset with it because it's like she made a sigh, like I didn't follow the direction of, when you are when you are asking for direction, bring me to Walmart or something, and you're supposed to turn right, and then she made a sigh, and I felt like, oh my goodness. Like, why did you do what I said?
Told you that? That's so funny. Okay, I kind of want to be done with Siri. This is something I want you guys to play with, and if it works or not works, I don't know why for Yolanda, when she clicked on that, it didn't show up. She also had the choice to have it listen for Hey Siri. I have this complicated sound set up, and so that's why mine probably didn't say it. But if you click on listen for Hey Siri, your computer would also do whatever it does when you say those words. Okay.
All right.
Now Lily is saying Siri could not see my current location. You probably have told your computer to not share your current location, for security's sake or something like that, in one of your many settings, and so then Siri can't find it. So when did it say, what did you ask Siri that it said I can't find your current, when you asked it for the weather or something like that?
Yes, the weather.
Okay, so there's settings where we try to keep our computers private, and you probably have it set to don't share my location. And so Siri doesn't know your location. So your computer kind of knows where you are unless you tell it not to know where you are. And you probably have it set it at don't know where I am. So I'm trying to figure out where that was here. It's under probably security and privacy. And let me just share my screen again. This wasn't something I was about to go do, but let me go find, because where would it be? I would assume it's under security and privacy for location. Let me click on security and privacy. Privacy, yeah. So, okay, so where I went is security and privacy, guys. So I'm in my system preferences now again. Okay, so we were here in Siri, and now click on this. Let me put my spotlight mouse on again. Okay, we were in Siri. This button always returns us to all the options of system preferences. And now I'm going to security and privacy. Okay, so click on security and privacy. And you'll end up in general, firewall, go to privacy.
Privacy.
Okay, so now here's this thing called location services, and you can tell which one of your apps gets to know where you are. And if so, you need to tell it. You need to click a check mark for it to know where you are. And if you want to keep your privacy, you don't turn it on for things, and for others you do. So mine is turned on for Siri, for example, and for weather, but it's off for Google Chrome. It's on for maps because I want the maps to know where I am to tell me how to get to a place, but I don't want it on for, say, my Safari or stuff like that, right? So how do you turn these on or off? To make those choices, you have to click on this lock first. Okay. It wants your password. So you put in your computer password there to unlock. And now you can choose whether you want Google Chrome to know your location, or you can turn everything off for nothing to know your location.
Sorry, where I have to go?
From
Yeah,
the system
security and
settings,
privacy.
security and
I-
privacy. And then you land in general.
In general. Okay, general.
So I'm moving you from general all the way to the last choice, privacy.
Okay.
Or if I were British, I would say privacy. All right. So from privacy, it's usually locked because these are major changes that your computer doesn't let you do unless you put in a password. So you click on here, put in your password, and now you can say, no, turn it off. I don't want anyone to know where I am. I have that one on.
Sorry, I
What's-
don't get it
what's up,
when you put your password, because for me the weather is activated, but to the right side there are a triangle, a yellow
Okay, so
triangle.
how about you share your screen then with me? Anyone else for whom are you all in the privacy? There's a lot of questions always about privacy. Many times when I teach only the Mac OS level 1 and 2, I don't get to show you the system preferences deeply. So this time, for the first time in years, we get to teach the intro to the Mac. This is when I really show you the system preferences, and the privacy settings that I'm showing you right now are a big part of how you set up your computer to safeguard yourself. Lily, if you've never shared your screen, let me tell you how to do it.
I never.
Okay, so
it.
first go to the big green button that says share screen on Zoom, okay, at the bottom. And then the second thing you need to do is a white window comes up with lots of boxes. On the bottom right of that window, there's a white button that says share, a blue button that says share in white letters. As soon as you click on that second share, then it probably came up with security and privacy questions.
Open system preferences.
Yeah, open system preferences. This is the first time you share only. In the future, you won't have to do that. Okay, so now it takes you to your privacy. Right?
No, I come back to the
system preferences. Yeah.
Open system preference. And now
Yes.
I again in the Zoom seeing your
good.
face.
Yeah, so now you're in the system preferences. So now notice that on the right side, you have a box that has a Zoom word, and you need to check a check mark next to the word Zoom.
No. Yeah,
No?
check mark Zoom.
Check
To
mark
the
Zoom.
Mac.
Okay,
No,
once
I
you
don't-
check mark, you
I
don't
don't-
see the
I-
word Zoom?
No. It's
Okay,
not coming.
if you're clicking in different places, you probably lost it. It's not this one that I'm in. It's not about location and privacy. It's about giving permission to Zoom So, you will see right here, I don't have that window because I have my permission, but you will see in this window, you will see the word Zoom. Like I see Safari or the stuff in this window. I'm not sharing my window. Let me share my window. Once, hold on. Once you say share, the first time ever that you share only, Lily,
Yeah.
then it's easy. It'll bring you to a window like this when you click on system privacy, and you will see the word Zoom here, and you'll have to check it. Okay,
Oh,
and to give it permission. So you need to do that step, and then after that, it'll start sharing. So start again. Go ahead and close whatever you are, and go back to the word share screen and do it again, and then don't make different choices. Just the window it lands you in is all you need to be in. Don't start searching around because then you leave it.
share.
Okay.
Open
Read to me
system
what's
preferences.
happening. Open system preferences, click on that.
After that, I click the share open system preference, come back to the Zoom, all the faces, but there are not the other option. I don't have to,
Okay, you're not
Yeah.
seeing the system preferences. So go.
no, it's not
So
pop up.
when you say open system preferences, you don't see system, it's not behind your Zoom window. Move your Zoom window. It's not, the system preferences is supposed to open when you say open system preferences. I've done it with about 159 students by now.
I saw, yeah, was, okay,
Now you see it?
yeah,
Okay,
yes.
now you have to unlock it. So you need to type in your password if it's not unlocked yet. Maybe you already unlocked it. And then do you see the word Zoom?
But how I unlock? In general?
Click on the bottom left. There's a lock. Click the lock. It's
Click
like
the
a
lock
little lock.
information. Yeah. Use password.
Put your
Uh-oh.
password in.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And now, do you see the word Zoom with a blank checkbox? You need to check that box.
Okay, I will do it. Unlock. Mm,
You need to tell me what you're saying because I can't guess.
yeah. No, continue because the password is not working.
Oh, that I can't help with.
Yeah,
that.
this is that. Yes, I know.
It's the password that you use to open up your computers.
Yeah, no, I grow, but what happened when I changed I changed my phone and I changed my password, and after that it's not working. I had problems to.
All right. So Herman, you're sharing your screen right now.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm seeing your screen. Did you have something you wanted to show me?
I don't see that Zoom is in
ID,
here.
No, that's because the fact that you're sharing your screens mean that you're allowed. It's a window that appears only when you give the first permission, right?
So
But
I'm
you've already
okay.
given permission because you're sharing, so you're okay. So it doesn't show for you. But the first time ever that you have to give permission, like she's going through it, then it shows up for you. Okay.
Okay.
So you're fine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop your share right now because you're totally fine. It's the
We
people
know
who
the
have never
information.
shared that have to go through this. Like the first time you ever did it, you had to go through this. Everyone here has, but so if those of you who've never shared, you'll go through this one time. I'm gonna wait because if it's your password, I can't help you.
Now it's okay. Now it's okay. Yeah, enter the password.
Okay.
So
now
I click the Zoom.
click the box next to the Zoom. There you go. Now you can go and do the share again and it'll share this time.
Okay. So now I have to. You want to see the city? Era.
So now go down and click on share screen and again on the second window.
What
Okay.
are the pros and cons of checking photos?
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
me
get
too.
to that.
Okay.
That's a big combination. That's a big conversation.
What I need to know in order to Oh,
Okay.
madre santa.
Lily, decímelo en español. ¿Qué está pasando?
Now I lost where I was in city, so I can share.
Well, I can take you to Siri. Don't worry. Just share your screen
Yeah.
because we're waiting for that. Because I can show you how to get there. Otherwise,
I am sharing now, but
Oh.
it's not that.
No, you're
it's
not. No, you're not sharing.
I could share.
But you have to put the 2 buttons of share. Did you do also the white button of share, the big green screen, green button, and then the blue button that says with white letters share? It's 2 steps.
No, now I am lost. Yeah, I don't know where is the page that I was. Don't
worry about the system preferences. Just go to the Zoom, go to the green button that says share screen.
Yeah,
And
I did
then
it.
the blue button. Okay, and then the blue button on the bottom right that says share. There we go. All right, good. Now I can help you. I just couldn't help you when I couldn't see your screen. All right, so now this window you're seeing, Big Mac OS Saucer, you can close it. We're not using it right now. Okay, now go open your system preferences, which is the one with the gears. There we go. All right, so I think your question was about Siri, right? So I
Yes.
said that it's not letting you share because of location services. So I asked you to go to security and privacy, which in your case is the last, there we go, security and privacy. Click on that one.
You
And you're
see
in
the
privacy.
weather.
Okay, all right, now. Go down and click the lock to make changes. So see the bottom left, you can't change anything until you click on that lock and put in your password. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Trying to use password, put in your password. Oh, okay. So now go click on that little, I see that you have that, see, she's asking about that little triangle that has like, so click on that and see what it says. Application not found at the expected path. System Library Services Weather Contacts Mac OS Weather. So what is basically saying the application that reads the weather in your computer doesn't seem to be there. So that's your problem. Weather.app is not where it should be. So that I don't know why you don't have your weather in the right place. Okay, guys, but see what she's doing. There's a message there. There was a little, that's a triangle with a, it's small for you guys, but it's a triangle with an exclamation point, kind of like warning, warning, something's wrong. So I don't know, you can't get the weather, but it seems to be working for anything else. So I don't want to work with you to figure out why the weather app is not working. Let me just send you back to the question that I believe Herman asked. See over there on the left, scroll up and down. Where you are, scroll up and down until you, no, where you were, just scroll with your mouse. Is that the only choices? Okay, so go to the, click on photos. Oh, click on photos on the left. Herman wanted to know about photos. I believe it was, okay. So this is, no, this is different. This is allowing iMovie to see your photos. Go back to location services. I'm sorry. Top. Put your mouse on the right and scroll over there. Like, can you scroll? You don't have a scroll bar. Do you know how? Yeah. Can you scroll up and down? There we go. So you don't seem to have photos set up here. Everything right now has access to your, you don't have photos, huh? OPQRS. Keep going to go to the very top. Let's see if you can see photos. Basically, guys, anything here under location services, you seem to have less choices here. Anything here that is under location services that appears has access to your location. So maybe since you don't have it, we can ask Herman. Was it you who asked? Who had asked me? I think it was, I'm going to stop your sharing. I believe it was Herman.
Yes.
Okay, so if it's on, you don't need to share. I'll share my screen. Let me just share mine. Here's the thing. over here under location services, I have some on and some off. This is a sample account, by the way, and my regular account, I do have it on. When you put this on photos, what it does is that your photos are able to have a stamp on them that shows in the map where the photo was taken. Okay, so when this is off, you see the photo, but in the map, it doesn't show where it was taken. Okay, so your photos, your computer, like your camera, any camera, no, not just an iPhone, when you take a photo, the system records the coordinates of where in the world that photo was taken. Your camera does that, unless in your camera, you tell your camera not to do that. But like, little Canon DSLRs, big DSLRs, they all do that. It's just part of what goes recorded into the camera, into the photo. So when you turn this on here, then when you open the Photos app, you can search for your photos by location. But if here you turn it off, then you see the photo, but it won't place itself in the map. It won't use that data that the photo has to show yourself in the map. Does that make sense? You guys haven't used the Photos app yet, and so you don't know what I'm talking about, but this is where you control whether your photo whether your photos show in the map or not. I'm getting into my new questions, and I'm noticing that I'm losing quite a lot of you guys, so let me back off and explain a little bit more, because I'm explaining, by giving one answer, I'm noticing that I'm not giving the context, and usually what I try to do is give you the entire context so you understand stuff. So here's the thing. The context of this is that you can choose how much or how little you want your privacy to be, if you want, invaded by your computer, right? And this security and privacy, what it does is it allows you to choose when you want to give access to your computer to know things like, in this case, do you want your computer to know where the photo was taken, right? Now, the photo has that information anyway. The photo has the information because it was taken, and when photo gets recorded, it records a face of a human being, and it records also the location it was taken. The camera does that, right? So that's not something that you're controlling here. Here, what you're controlling is whether, when you put that photo in your computer, whether you see it on the map or not. That's all you're controlling right here. So you can say, I don't want my computer to show me the location of any photo, or I do want to have my computer show the location of any photo. So if you're at work, and this is your work computer, and your photos come up, do you want everyone to know where that photo was taken? Maybe not. So in your work computer, you turn this off. But maybe you're at home and, hey, yeah, you're fine remembering that your photo was taken at the Arches National Park, and this other one was taken when you were visiting your friend in Florida, and this other was taken when you were in the middle of an Alaskan cruise. So you turn this on, and in the map, you can see little spotlights where your photos were taken. So that's the choice that's being made here. I'm seeing a lot of puzzled faces. Can I get some questions?
Deanna, I find
Yes.
a lot of times if I'm trying to use an app, it'll say, I need you to turn it on. And then I do, just to do whatever it was I wanted to do. But
yeah, so some, like, you turn on the Maps app, and it'll say you better turn on your location services, because otherwise I can't tell you where you are, right?
yeah,
So Maps is turned on. But on the other hand, there's others that you might go, no, I don't need to be, I don't need this app to know where I am. I don't need Google to know where I am. And other people would like Google to know where you are, because then when you ask for the nearest post office, Google knows to tell you. Or, but if you don't tell Google where you are, Google doesn't know where to tell you where the nearest post office is, because it doesn't know where you are. It's not automatic that the computer knows where you are unless all of this is turned on. Does that make sense? So you get to choose that. I find that there's some things that I always want them to know where I am. I want my calendar to know where I am, because when I'm running late on an appointment, I want to click on my calendar, click on the address, and I want it to tell me, oh, it'll take you 15 minutes to get there, which my calendar will do as long as my computer knows where I am. And so my computer knows that I'm living here in this place that I live in, and it tells me it'll take you 15 minutes to get there. If I had that off, it'll just tell me your appointment is at 5, and it won't tell me how long it'll take me to get there. So that's a choice you make. Your computer can know more about you or less about you right here in this certain setting of privacy. Does that make sense? So now I'm showing you this, the choices or the decisions about whether you want it on or off are yours, right? But I'll go to contacts. Let me see, calendars. If some app wants access to my calendar, it'd appear here. None of my apps has asked me for access to my calendars. If I go to reminders, nothing wants that. Okay, so all of these, oh look, camera, this is the one that you were asking about. My camera, the computer's camera, has allowed for access to the Zoom. So all of you guys, who have shared with me their screen, have this on. If you have never shared your screen with anyone, this is probably off. So this would be a good time to turn it on so that next time you have to share your screen, you don't have to go through all the rigmaroles that Lily had to go through, right? So your sharing your screen will be easy if you turn it on just right there, because the Zoom needs access to your camera, to your computer's camera. Does that make sense? So if right here, this is off, when you try to share your screen, it'll say, well, you have to go to system preference to give it permission, and you have to do everything that Lily just did, versus if you turn it on now. Now, if you didn't unlock, this is grayed out. So if you're trying to turn it on, you need to unlock. Now, if you never want to share your screen and you turn this off, I can't even turn it off right now, because then my whole screen share that I'm doing right now will disappear. So I can't turn it off. But if you turn it off, that means that next time you try to share your screen, you won't be able to. Okay. But this does not mean that you're giving access to anyone else to use your Zoom or your camera. It's just your computer. So it's your own control. You're controlling the access of your own computer to yourself. Carol, you have a question? I can't hear you.
I know, I forgot.
Yeah,
that.
sorry.
Yeah, maybe it's just like, I get the whole thing about it's allowing my computer access to, I mean, it speaks in terms of, actually I'm out of privacy. Hang on. That was weird, because when I was first into privacy, it wasn't showing me the full location of everything. But my question really is to what extent, like for instance, under photos, I've got Chrome and something else I forget because I've just timed out or something. To what extent is that like through the cloud or what? Because you've got apps which are kind of less inside your computer, or do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not sure I quite conceptually get it.
Yeah. Basically, when you open an app, who was it that said, someone mentioned, you open an app on your phone, I think Debbie, and your phone says to you, do you want to give access to this app to your camera? Or do you want to give access to this app to something? And you say yes or no, depending on whether it matters, then it appears here. So the computer too. If you went to Google Chrome and at some point accessed Google Chrome Photos, which is an app that Google has for photos, like it's a Google Photos app, it probably said, do you want to give access to your computer to your photos? And you probably said yes at that point, and that's why Chrome is appearing over here as an app that is allowed to look at your photos. If you don't want to do that anymore, you turn it off, and then Google Chrome can't look at your photos. Now, what this Photos means is the Photos app that's in your computer. So if you look at your bar, there's a Photos app, and that's where photos appear. Now, we haven't talked about that app yet, so it might be confusing for those of you who don't know about the Photos app and you've never seen your photos on your computer. But this is an app, this is an application software that's in your computer for you to see all your photos that you take, for example, on your phone. But you've also given access to Chrome. It seems if you see the word Chrome here, you've given access to Chrome to see your photos. That's what it means. And at this point, you can choose to go, well, I don't want that. Turn that little checkbox off. this is where you have that control to not just be at the mercy, if you want, of that thing that you turned on once by mistake, if it was a mistake. Or this is where you go, oh yeah, I see all my photos through Google Chrome. I use the Chrome app. I don't use the Mac app. So of course, this is necessary, and you leave it on. Does anyone else have anything else turned on here under photos?
So should I shut off Google Chrome's, like in privacy, where when I click photos, it says Finder and it says Google Chrome? Both of those things are checked. I didn't do it myself. I don't know, somebody in my family must have. So should I just take off Google Chrome? Because why would I want Google Chrome to see my photos?
Yeah, sure. Turn it on. I would. I don't like Google Chrome is very invasive. It's one of the most invasive apps. And so I don't allow Google Chrome to do almost any access to my computer unless it's necessary. So I would turn it off. But then if you try to go do something and see that in this week, oh, wait, something's happening to my photos. Maybe you were using some feature of it that you didn't know and that you might find that you lost. But I would personally definitely turn it off.
What about Finder? Finder is checked. That makes sense.
I don't know why the Finder is asking. Does anyone else has a request on, has the word Finder here? Bonnie has that. I'm not sure right now, but the Finder is your Finder. Okay.
No,
the
I
Finder
understand
is your
that.
computer app. So that should be okay.
I mean,
But I
I'm
don't
sorry
know.
to send you through all this minutia, but one of the things I find that kind of makes me nervous is I don't understand the full consequences of stuff that either I do or family members do when they get done. And even on this, like, each one has its own ramifications under everything, under every single possibility. And they're not necessarily what I would have assumed, even sort of thinking about your explanation, that necessarily they would have done. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. The whole concept of privacy, the whole concept of how private or not. Here's the thing. We could easily have a computer. Say you have a Chromebook, Google Chromebook. You know, does anyone have a Chromebook here, for example? It's a different kind of Mac. It's a Mac. It's a different kind of computer. I mean, no one has a Chromebook? Okay. It's a kind of computer made by Google Chrome that only gives you access to the web. It's basically a computer just to hold the Chrome application, right? It doesn't give you many options for privacy. It just does whatever it wants to do. And you have no choices or very few choices. Apple, if you never go into this thing, if you just forget it and close this and never use this, by default, it's set up to keep you somewhat private. Like if you've never checked any of the privacy issues before, it keeps you as private as it can be. Apple, especially as we move into Big Sur, Catalina, the newer the computers are getting and the newer the software you have, the much more careful Apple is about privacy. And it doesn't want it, like right now, there's a big fight if you look at the news, because Facebook is really furious that that Apple won't allow Facebook to track you as a user anymore when you're on Facebook, because Apple is trying to become the champion of privacy. So in order to do that, by default, it gives you a lot of privacy, but then it gives you this choice here to let you choose even more. Now, you have to do research. You need to find out what the implications are. I don't know the implications of each one of these things, which one is going to have what kind of repercussion. For the most part, it's set to as much as Apple wants to give you, and then you can give it even more or less according to these choices. Now, you might say, you know, forget it, like I'm going to advertising. I have limit ad tracking turned on. I don't want my computer to be tracking me every time so I have opted out of receiving ads targeted to your interested in Apple apps or iOS devices. Okay. So now what it's warning though, you may still receive the same number of ads. Like if I go now to the internet, I'm going to still see ads, but there'll be ads maybe about pickup trucks, which I'm not interested in, or guns that I'm not interested in, because it's not tracking me. Versus if it did track me, it would give me apps about things that I care about, ads that I care about. The internet still tracks you guys, right? It tracks you guys, but you can limit it finding out about you and then becoming a target for ads. Remember, I gave you the example, if you go to Vaughn's and you buy raspberries, next thing you know, I go to the mail, I find an ad from Vaughn's saying, hey, 20% off on raspberries. That has happened all the time with your credit card. You go around the world buying things with your credit card and the world begins to know what you like. So you start getting junk mail based on the things that you like and that you buy. I don't know if you've noticed that I started remodeling my house and suddenly my junk mail was full of ads for windows and tiles and roofing. And it wasn't coincidence. It's just that I was going to the Home Depot and all these places and buying things for my house. And so that's why I started getting all those ads, right? So that already happens. This isn't the world of computers. That's happening just because you use a credit card. Then you open up your browser and you go to look at compare prices of tiles. Next thing you know, every ad you open up, every time you have an option for an ad to come up, it'll be about house remodeling. I swear to you, because I went through this when I had to remodel my house 10 years ago. You go buy shoes, there's an ad for remodeling. You go to Amazon and you'll see ads for, you know, copper pipes and PVC pipes and BDB pipes because you were working on plumbing. The computer knows what you're interested in. But if you turn this off, then you're still going to get ads, but you'll get ads for things that you're not interested in. So in a way, you're telling the world less about yourself. That's all this limits. It doesn't limit the number of ads you're going to receive. It will just not have tracked what you're buying and what you're purchasing and what you're seeing. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yeah.
And I kind of like to be a little bit more anonymous. I don't like to have the internet know whether I like mystery stories or whether I like science fiction stories. I would rather it not know that I like books. I would rather it send me ads for pickup trucks when I'm not interested, because then I just don't look at them because I'm not interested and I keep reading what I'm interested in. But when I'm reading something I'm interested in, then suddenly an ad appears for my favorite book. I go, ooh, let me see it. I get distracted and I go click on it, right? Because that's how I am. So I am happier if the ads are not directed at me. Does that make sense? Now,
What's
this is the
full
worst
disk
nightmare.
access
The
for?
world would prefer, where the world of commerce would prefer that I don't have that on, because they would like to know that I am someone who is of a certain age, of a certain tastes and likes. But by limiting ad tracking, they know less about me. Okay. Now you can be, on the other hand, saying, you know what, if I'm going to be in the internet, why not have it show me things that I like? I might find things that I appreciate. And it's a choice that you have to make. I was in someone's house yesterday, I was saying, and they were showing me all these things they got for their daughter's graduation that they saw on Facebook. And I'm like, oh, my son's graduating and I didn't see any of that on Facebook because I don't have the ad tracking on, right? And so I didn't buy all these products that she bought for her son. Not that I would have anyway, because we're different people, but that's what I mean about having less tracking of, like, Facebook probably doesn't know that my son is graduating, but Facebook knows that her daughter is graduating because of the choices in privacy that you made. Okay, this is turning into a big privacy conversation.
Well, this is important stuff.
It's important stuff. You know,
Yeah.
we're not doing much with our computer right now, but we're becoming
Comfortable.
you're comfortable, you're becoming at least informed. Okay,
Yeah.
that there are choices you can make around privacy, and this is the setting where you make those choices, right? In a way. So before, you just open an application and it would go into your files and find the file that you needed. Now with Catalina, when you open an application, you have to tell Zoom whether it's allowed to access your files and folders, right? And so I had to give this permission at some point. I had to give permission. Now, which one of my apps has full disk access? Oh my God, the only one of my apps that has full disk access that has asked for it is Backblaze, because Backblaze is my app that backs up my entire computer to the internet, and I pay for that service. So Backblaze accesses my entire computer and backs it up as a backup service that I have. And when you get to macOS level 2, I'll teach you about that. But everything else that has wanted to access my entire computer is here. These are things showing me. These are apps that have asked for access to my computer, and I've said no, 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 and I've turned it all off to all these people. But I've said yes to this person. Does that to not people, apps. So if you click on your full disk access, see what you have said yes to. Maybe nothing has asked you for full access. Maybe things have.
Mine's empty.
I have not. What's that? Yeah, so that means that none of your apps have asked you for access to your disk. It means that you don't have the kind of apps that ask you. Now I have a malwares protection that I've not given access. I have VDI, which is something I use for, I have not given it access to everything. I only give it access to the stuff I want it to have access. So you make choices like that. So Photoshop, I use Photoshop a lot, and I've allowed it to check stuff from my other monitor and stuff like that, right? So accessibility, for example, I've allowed all of these different apps to give me support with accessibility. This is so, go to the advertising one again. If you go to about advertising and privacy, start reading about all this stuff. Half of it might scare you, and half of you, someone said it's important. It makes you more informed, right? And I think it's important to be informed, not to be scared, because a lot of people go, oh, I'm going to stop using my computer now. But I'm like, guys, ever since you started using a credit card, you're being tracked. You just need to know that this is happening on the computer too, and that you have some way of controlling it. You have no control. When you use your credit card around the world, you have no control. That is a given. At least on the computer, you have some control. And this is where it's giving you that choice. Okay. I want us to explain, for example, let's go back, let's go out of privacy. And I want to explain some others of these that are a bit more practical minded, that really will change how your computer works. But that's what this whole system preference is. It's about making your computer work the way you want it to work. And the equivalent of that on the phone is making your phone work the way you want your phone to work. So I'm going to go back to the cloud when we come back from break, because that is the conversation I want us to keep having. But know that all of this, any of these choices, is telling you, like, if you click on any of these things, it's you get to personalize how the computer works for you. Do you want it to read the time, date and time backwards or forwards, English or Spanish? Do you want it to save energy, make it turn off quicker or turn off slower? Do you want Siri to work or not to work? Do you want accessibility tools, meaning do you want fonts to show up bigger or smaller? Everything that's in the system preferences is for you to modify the way the computer comes to make it fit more to your needs. And the same, that settings on your phone is to personalize how your phone works to make to work to your needs. That's what this app is all about. And this class that I'm teaching you now, Intro to Mac, is all about setting these preferences to work for you. Okay. I'm going to work on the settings in the system preference and phone for the iCloud when we come back. But now let's go take a break. All right. So it's 3 p.m. You're welcome. We're gonna take 15 minutes. So we'll be back from break at 3:15 p.m. I put it in the chat so everyone knows.
Okay.
And
thank you, Diane.
What's that?
No,
it's
thank
went
you
into the-
for the yes, for the explanation.
You're welcome. So here we go. All right, I'm going to turn everyone's sound off so that you can make all the noise you want, and I'll see you guys in 15 minutes. Oh, one more thing, by the way, just whoever's still listening, for the break, this is what I do. The moment I say, okay, it's time for break, I turn my sound off, and then I say to my phone, hey Siri, set timer for 12 minutes. So that gives me,
Set for 12 minutes.
in 12 minutes is gonna ring, and I know that I have 3 minutes to run back to my computer. So that's one example of how I know to be back here on time, right? So, okay.
Okay, let's get a cookie.
No, no, no. Okay. Yes, this is Dr. Schoenstein. I'm calling back on a call I received from Carmen. To set up an appointment. (2/28/1929). Yes. For a Morse procedure?
Herman, your microphone's on, just in case you didn't know.
Okay. Hi, I want to set up an appointment for a Morse procedure. No, I've seen Dr. Kabir. 2/28/1929. And is this done in Carpinteria? Okay. I suppose I could, yeah. 2:20. Okay, where in Santa Barbara? Okay, it's near where? Oh, yeah, yeah. I drove past it today. Yeah. And there's parking in the back? Okay. Okay, and the entrance is off of Mission. Okay, even I can find it. All right. Thank you. Bye.
All right, we're back. I have to reconnect this. All right. Okay, is everyone back? Did you use your Siri to set up a timer to tell you to come back?
Yes, but in my phone.
Yeah, yes, and my phone, exactly, me too. I just walk away and I yell at my phone, hey, you thing that I don't want to say the name of, please set a timer for so many minutes. It kind of works. All right. So, share my screen again. And here we are. All right. So now we're using the there we go. I'm assuming that's you, Lonnie. Someone asking to come in. I don't recognize the name. Okay. So where we left the conversation last week was, it was last Thursday, was when we were trying to figure out what was the cloud versus the iCloud, right? and how that showed up on our devices. By devices, I mean your laptops, your iPad, your iPhone, whatever it is that you own, your desktop. And in the computer system preferences, in order to access the iCloud, it doesn't say iCloud anywhere. It just says the word Apple ID. For the older versions, it says the word iCloud. Okay. So, and then for one of you guys, it said just sign into iCloud down there. So it showed up a little bit differently for all of us, but go ahead and click on that again. And if you're still in some other privacy or whatever place you are, click on this button that takes us to the, I think for some reason, I think this is called the waffle icon, which makes sense because of what it looks like, but it's, you know, the button that with all these little dots. Let's click on Apple ID. Okay. So is everyone there? Is everyone in your Apple ID? In my other computer, hold on, I need to access. I have a setup that's a little bit different, so I need to join us.
I'm
I
just
need to.
Are you having us click under the Apple, or are we in system preferences?
System preferences
Uh-huh.
is always the place you start with. And inside of there, you click on Apple ID.
You know what? It's because I have Mojave and I don't have that.
Oh, well, then you have the one here that looks like a little cloud that says iCloud.
So that's what I clicked into.
Yeah. And then you're in something similar to this.
Great. Just making sure.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's just that you can't.
I can't follow
so-
along with the others.
What's that?
I can't.
Let me,
follow
I'm typing.
along with the others. I'm just.
It's just a little bit different. So it's not very, very different. Okay, so I'm connecting on my other computer to our class because I want to show you options. 9503116. All right, so now I have two different setups that I want to be able to share with you, and that's why I have my other computer here, because I have one set up where it's all connected and one where it's not all connected. Okay, so all right. Okay, sorry, it's just that my my left hand is not as nimble as my right hand. I'm handling the other computer with my left hand. Okay. So remember that I told you that anything that you have turned on in here means, okay, does anyone here want to tell me what it means before I tell it to you again? Does anyone remember what these check marks on here in your iCloud mean? If they're on your computer?
Is that all that we save in the cloud, so all our devices can see, share with all our devices?
Okay, you went a step further than that. That's one thing, but the basic thing, it's not about all the other devices. If I only own a Mac and nothing else, like a laptop, that's it. I don't have any other device. All of the stuff that's in my Mac goes to where?
The cloud.
To the iCloud.
Cloud, to the internet,
Okay.
to the cloud.
To the iCloud. So now that stuff that's on the iCloud is only accessible by whom?
Me,
The ID.
Just by anyone who knows your Apple ID or password. So be careful. It's not completely private. It's whoever you've given your Apple ID and password to, right? So
Okay.
don't give your Apple ID and password out is to anyone that you're not 100% confident should have it. No one ever who calls you from Apple should ever ask you for your password, for example, okay? Be careful with that. If they're having you fix your computer and do it online, then they'll ask you to type in your password. So don't give your password away to anyone unless you're very most trusted people. At most, type it in yourself, which shows up as little bubbles and they can't see it. That's just a warning I want to say as far as all the scams that go out there. You never, ever, 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 ever have to give your password out. All right, so all of the stuff that's on my computer, that's check marked. So anything I wrote in my notes, anything I visited in Safari, any bookmarks I have in Safari, any stuff like that, any events I have in my calendars, any contacts I've written, any email, all of this is being replicated in the cloud. Okay, that's that's clear. Now, Lily took it a step further when she said correctly that if I have other devices, and then other devices, if they also have those turned on, and that's the thing that is missing. So now I'm going to share my iPhone screen. Everyone go to your iPhone now. And if in your phone, you go to the cloud. So, okay, so here I'm back in the settings. So if you were inside of other stuff, scroll up to the settings, go to your name at the very top of your name, where it says Apple ID, iCloud, and all those things. Then go there, click on your name, and right underneath that, as you scroll down, you see the word iCloud. And at that point, click on the word iCloud. All right, so here you are. This is the equivalent, okay? This is the equivalent where mail, contacts, calendars, reminders, everything that's green, which in this case is all of them, all of the information that's on your phone is going to where?
The cloud.
The
To the cloud.
iCloud. The
Okay?
iCloud.
Exactly, it's going to the iCloud. Now, because your computer is sending its contacts to the iCloud and your phone is sending its contacts to the iCloud, they become one and the same thing. So if you write your friends, hold on. If you go to your contacts and write your friend's new address that she just moved because you met with her to have lunch, and you write it on your phone, that immediately gets pushed to the iCloud, and the iCloud then also pushes it to the computer. So at home, where you're not even there yet, if someone were to open your computer and go to the contacts, they'd find your friend's new address on it. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's because you're connected on both your devices to the contacts. Now, if you have an iPad,
They're synced.
they're synced. The sync, it used to be the word that we used because syncing was a physical thing. You had to plug in and say sync and things would sync. Now, it's not really even called sync anymore, but the idea is, yes, it's synced. It's called pushed because without your doing anything, all that happens is that you write it in and it just does it for you. You don't have to go press a button and say sync to send your information one place to the other. It just gets pushed as long as you have Wi-Fi or if you've enabled your data all the time so that, but mainly it's when you enter Wi-Fi because then it doesn't use data. Everything gets kind of pushed around. Now, by vice versa, if you are at home and you're on the phone making an appointment with a doctor and you're in front of your computer and they say, come here and, at 3 p.m. and you type it in your computer, as long as this calendar green thing is turned on and the check mark next to the calendar is turned on, when you make your appointment for 3 p.m. to see the doctor, when you're driving to the doctor's, you can pull up your phone's calendar and there's the appointment and it says 3 p.m. in case you forgot if it was at 2:30 or it was at 3:30. It's there because it got pushed. Does that make sense? Ugh. This thing is on turning off. The timer is too fast. It turns off when I don't pay attention to it. A bit too fast for teaching. Okay, does that make sense, you guys? That
Yes.
the information now, if perchance I were to disconnect, and this is why I want my sample phone, because right now by not having this one, I don't want to disconnect all my stuff. But if I were to turn this off right here on my phone, what's in my phone would not go to the cloud. If it doesn't go to the cloud, it doesn't also go to my computer. Does that make sense? Because my phone and my computer aren't connected directly. They're connected through the cloud. So if then I meet with my friend Sophia and she gives me her new phone number and I write it in my phone, when I get home on my computer, I look up and Sophia's phone number is not on my computer's contact. Does that make sense, you guys? They're not talking through the phone. So that this is a choice you have. If you want your information to be in both places simultaneously, you need to have the check mark on both system settings and setting in the system preferences in your computer and settings checked for the same thing. Does that make sense? All right. So now this is up to you. And usually when we're at home and when we're at school, I have people take snapshots of their iCloud at their computer so that they can then compare to their phone, because everyone has their phone with them in class, but they don't have their computer. But here we are, we have both in front of you, and you can look at them and go see whether your messages or your notes are turned on here. And if your notes are also turned on in, and now I'm going to go and say, if your notes are also turned on in your system preferences right here, and they are, then that means that if I write a note on my computer, I will see that note on my phone. Now, I understand that many of you guys don't use all these apps that your phone and your computers have available to be used. And I'm hoping to teach you that over the next, 3 sets of courses, Intro to the Mac, Mac OS Level 1 and 2, you'll be able to learn which of these apps you want to use more or less. But it's important to understand that what the iCloud does is allows them all to be on both places at the same time. Now I'm saying both places, but if you have an iPad, the settings on your iPad have to be set the same way. Maybe you don't want that. Maybe on your iPad, you just use it at home to watch movies on your lap. And you don't care about your calendar. You don't care about anything. So you on your iPad, you don't have that turned on. Or why not have it turned on and have you receive a phone call and you just type something into your iPad and there you go. It's also on your phone and it's also on your computer. So it's your choice though, to turn these things on or off. Again, I'm just showing you the options and showing you the choices. Now, some of these are much more consequential than others. So one thing I told you I had you guys promise me last week, I said, don't turn anything on or off. Remember, I said, make sure to not suddenly click little check marks on or off willy-nilly. And you all promised, gave me your Boy Scouts honor or pinky promise that you wouldn't do it. Remember that? So hopefully you didn't, because some of these are easier than others to turn on and off. Let me now share a different screen. Let me share my other computer screen. This is a different computer, so it's a different choice of settings. This is an iMac. This is a Mac, of course, where on this computer, as you can see, I don't have my mail or my contacts or my calendars or my reminders turned on. What does this mean? That if I use the mail app in this computer or the contact or the calendar, they'll work. It's not that the app doesn't work, just that whatever I use in here will not go up to the cloud. So I could have an appointment in this calendar in this computer that is not the same as the appointment that I have in the other computer. Does that make sense? Now, I don't really see the point if these are all your devices to do that, right? But I'm just trying to show you an example where it's off just because it's just a different set of settings where you say, no, I never used my whatever and I don't want it to sync. Now, when you decide to turn something on or off, it makes a difference. So I'm going to go ahead and give you an example. Right now on this computer, I'm going to change my share to have this be my entire computer. So I'm going to share my entire desktop. Okay, so now I'm sharing with you my entire desktop here. Now, in here, let's use the contacts. Here in the contacts, this is turned off, right? When I go down here in my app, so just watch this. I don't want you to particularly do this or not, just watch. So I'm going to click on my contacts. I turn it on. And I have some contacts that I have connected with before for pipelines and sample contacts and stuff, and just a few. That's all I have. Because this is something, a computer I use for teaching, I just have some, and that's all I have. Watch what's going to happen the moment I turn this on, okay, on the app. So basically this is not anywhere other than on this computer. Does that make sense? It's not available to the iCloud. It's working. The Contacts app is working on this computer, but it's not on the iCloud. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn this check mark on right there. And the moment I do that, when I go back to my app, it's the same contact app before. Look at how many apps I have now. It's so many more apps because I have, these are all my contacts that I actually had on the other computer. Look how quickly all that information went down from the cloud into my computer. These are my actual real contacts that I have in my other computer that I didn't have here just because this check mark wasn't turned on. Does that make sense? Now, I say, you know what? I don't want all these contacts here on this computer. I don't need them for whatever reason. I'm going to go turn it off. So I go and turn this check mark off and they're gone. This computer does not share with my phone and my other computers the contacts. Did you see how quickly that went?
Amazing. Yeah. Wow.
So this app, this place controls what comes in or out of your computer from the cloud. If I choose not to connect to the computer, it all stays in my computer. I can use the contacts, I can use the app. It lives in its own little island. That's perfectly fine. Here's the problem. The day that I lose my computer or it stops working or the hard drive crashes or someone steals it or I drop it or I leave it in the back of someone else's car, whatever it might be, then every single contact I have here is truly lost. And I have to start telling everyone, hey guys, like when we used to lose our little black book and say, I don't have your phone number anymore. Can you please tell me your phone number? Because I don't have it. Versus if I had it connected to the cloud and this computer dies, then all I need to do when I start this new computer is put in my Apple ID, turn on contacts, and boom, they'll all drop into this computer. And it's a new computer and it has all the same information that my other one had because the cloud had it. And here they are again. I have all my contacts again. Does that make sense? Yep.
Yeah.
And these are, I'll teach you how to use this and how to do this, but this is how that works. Okay, I'm going to turn it off again. Oh, sorry, I turned it on and then off. It's going crazy. I clicked on it twice. Same with everything else. All right. Now, notice that this one I am doing and showing it to you, and it's kind of inconsequential. It either shows up or it doesn't show up. But I told you to be careful not to do this yourselves because some of these are not so inconsequential. So, for example, I take a ton of notes, right? On my phone, when I'm out and walking around, when I'm home. I used to be the kind of person who had little pieces of scrap-ups of paper and post-it notes everywhere. Now I have the Notes app, right? So if I go to the Notes app right now, which is not connected to the iCloud, and on this computer, I go here to my dock and turn on the Notes app, I'll notice that there's no notes in here. Maybe a couple, one or two that I've made when I've been teaching how to use the Notes app in other classes. And so these are little sample notes or something. And so it's a note that reminds me what the codes are for this class, or this is the meeting ID for that. There's a couple of notes. That's all I have in here. But guess what? In my actual real phone and computer, I use notes all the time. I'm meeting with a client. I need the specifications for the job. I take a note in it. I'm talking to somebody, someone has a good recipe and I say, hey, tell me your recipe. I take a note on it. You know, anything you would scribble on a piece of paper. I have to go shopping somewhere and I can make a grocery list. There's so many things you can do with a Notes app. So now if I want this computer to have those same notes, I'll click on this and in a little while, and it takes, there's thousands of them, but here they are. They all start coming in. All my notes start popping in. It's going to take a while. I'm going to go to the SBCC notes, for example, which is, and this is so big that it takes much longer than it took for the cloud, but they're coming in, see? So we'll come back to this in a few minutes and you'll see all the notes that I have to myself will be here. And so I'll let that work. It's work while they start coming in. But just to show you how the notes, if I turn it on and off, they just show up or don't show up. The contacts, they just show up or they don't show up. The ones that are much more consequential are the top two, Photos and iCloud Drive. These are truly a big deal. So these are the ones that I asked you not, well, these two are the reason I asked you not to turn these on and off, because I couldn't tell you specifically what to turn it off, but these are the ones that you want to live with what's there. Some of you might have it on, some of you might have them off, some of you might have a line drawn across it, okay? So depending on what choice you've made, then you will have a different thing happening on your computer. And I want to explain those carefully because those are truly important. The most important one for, well, both are just as important. The most important for our purposes for this class is the one that says iCloud Drive. The other one, the photos, when I teach the photos class, I spend a lot of time explaining the photos. See how all my notes are beginning to pop in right here? By the way, in the background, it's finally bringing them in. So why is photos and iCloud so important? Because these things take up a lot of space. And you need to make decisions about this before you can turn these on or off. So leave them wherever you have them. It might be on. My other computer has them off, okay? And I'll explain to you what this means. First of all, as you can see, these notes passing in, if I had just turned them on and off, they would be faster. But since this is the first time that they get turned on and off, they're taking a lot of time. So these are notes that I take for myself about classes or stuff or whatever. So this is I do. So here's what I'll be teaching this day on this class. Here's like, I'll make notes about different code editors. I'll talk about that in the class. So this is my SBCC notes for something or another. Okay. I have to remind myself. So this day that I teach, I'll teach these. So I make myself like a little set of notes of what I'll be teaching each day. I use my notes and then I watch this while I'm teaching, right? Anyway, that's one type of thing, a way to use your notes. I write them on my computer. And then when I'm in class at school, I pick this up from my class. I pick this up from my phone. I wrote it in my computer at home, but then on my phone, I'm teaching and I have my phone next to me and I go, oh, today I was going to talk about gradients and textures and whatever. See what I mean? So that's a use of notes. I have links to things. There's a webinar here that I was very interested in that I wanted to be able to see again. So I remind myself about that webinar. And here's the link, notes. I'm watching a webinar and I'm taking notes and I'm putting in quotes that I like as I'm watching it and that kind of stuff. So I use my notes a ton. I have like 1,356 notes. Okay. Here I've got the waiting list. When I tell you guys to put yourself on the waiting list, here's my waiting list for the people who want to take a class. Okay. Et cetera, et cetera. So it's very useful because I don't want to make an entire Word document for that. I just want to take a quick note. So I'm going to teach you guys how to use notes, but the fact that I turn this on means that I can make a note on my phone and it pops into my computer. If I make a note on my computer, it pops into my phone. All right. iCloud and Photos. So I think you got the message with the whole phone. iPad. I'm going to close the Notes app right now. I'm going to show you why these two are so important. But before I go there, any questions about what I've just said before I move into iCloud, Drive, and Photos? Any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
So if I don't have checked mail on mine,
Mm-hmm.
is that a problem? I don't know why it's not checked, but it's not checked.
Well, here's the question I need to ask you before I can answer that. What do you do what app do you use for your mail? Do you go online? How do you write mail? Where do you receive and write mail? What app do you use? Do you use this little
It's
app
confusing
that's
'cause
on the
I've been-
dock?
It's confusing because I've been using a PC, but my husband and I shared that, and now I got this MacBook, so I've been doing notes on both.
Okay, so when
And I
you
have a huge amount.
when you want to
of
check
notes
your mail,
because
when you
I-
want to check on your Mac, when you want to check your mail, what do you use? What do you open on your Mac to check your mail?
I've been using Google just because it's more familiar to me and easier to
Okay.
read.
Okay, that's fine. But
But I have both of them on the Mac.
okay, so
In fact,
W-
Google
and-
shouldn't be open right now, should it?
Google Chrome right
Yeah.
now, I mean, ideally for this class, I've asked everyone to turn everything off. That's not part of today's class, so you don't need to have Google on. But I'm going to teach you, not this class, but next class, the next two classes, we're going to be talking much more about mail. And then I'll tell you what to do about mail and what I recommend you do on mail and whatnot. But basically, if you use this app, and I'll teach you how to use it in another class, not today, this app, the one that's on the dock, mail app, you can check whatever emails you have. And if you connect them this way, then that's how you also see the same ones that are on your phone and the same ones that are in your Google Chrome and the same ones that are everywhere, okay? But if you're not using that yet, then don't worry, don't turn this on yet. Later, when you learn how to use this app, then it'll be worthwhile for you to have your mail, because it's the same on my mail. If I look at my phone and I send an email to, say, Yolanda, and she's right above there, so I'm looking at her, then I do it onto my phone. If I were to look at my computer later, I'm working and there's the answer, I read her answer on my computer, I answer something back else to her, and then when I'm in the middle of shopping, her email pops in and I see it basically either on my phone or on my computer, as long as this is connected. If this is not connected, then the answer comes into only one of them. That's the only difference. For that you need to be using this app, and if you're not using them, then keep it off, because hey, who cares? There's nothing on it, right? So that's basically the answer to that. Yolanda, yeah?
Yeah, so I check reminder notes in that column, and my
Yeah.
question probably will be, if what I have on the notes is the same as what I want to remind myself,
Mhm.
what is the difference between the two? I remember that I had turned off one because on my laptop, it will be like pieces of paper that are sticking on my, and I didn't want to see too many of those.
That's that's a little app called Sticky Notes or something like that.
I see. Okay.
Yeah,
Now-
there's something called Sticky Notes that tries to imitate Post-it notes, only they show up like little Post-it notes. That's literally a digital Post-it note that shows a little yellow box here on your desktop that looks like as if you had stuck a sticky note. I don't use that. It's too confusing to have all that stuff all over my desktop personally, but if you want to have the equivalent of a Post-it note, but on your computer, you could use it. So it's not this one. It's not part of this stuff.
I see. So now if the one in the notes is similar to the one I have on reminders, then I could just uncheck the reminder and just have the
Well,
note.
they have two different jobs.
Oh.
Again, I'll be giving you this today. This intro to the Mac is to give you a general idea of all of what these things are. So I'll give you a general idea, but we won't get into using them until the other classes. Let me explain really quickly. Notes, I just showed you, is you can take any kind of notes. So you can have photos in your notes. You can have, it's a bigger deal. Okay, let me open notes again. And for example, I have one called recipes here, where I have a whole bunch of recipes that I like to make, and I want to have them on my phone when I'm in the kitchen, right? So I put them, I go online and I look for, I have an Instant Pot now, which is like, ooh, whoa, I love it. So I don't want to write the whole recipe, but I put the link to the recipe in here that I found when I was on the computer. And then when I'm since it's on my notes, when I'm in the kitchen, I'll open my notes and I'll click on this link on my phone without having to search on it. I just come here, I click on this link, and what it does is it opens up the actual recipe. And so then I can read it and see what to put and what not to do. So here, I just linked to it, for example, right? So this is the recipe that I was linking to. See how it opened up?
Okay.
Let me just close. So that's just another way to use notes, which is just, you can use it for whatever you want. So I have a folder called recipes and I put all of this kind of stuff in there. Great. I have different jobs. I have different reasons to have different things. Here's like house ideas. Every time I see something that I like about a house idea, we're thinking about building an ADU. So here I have links to different ADU information, questions. So stuff, just like things that I want to write down, things that are not worth a whole computer document for, right? Here's when to trim our prune our chirimoya. We have a chirimoya, when to prune it. I wrote down some stuff. So that's how I use notes for just things that don't deserve an entire document. They're just something I want to be reminded. Reminders, on the other hand, is a place where you can set yourself, and 100%, I want to just tell you guys, I don't use reminders too much. Between notes and calendars, I kind of skip the need for reminders. So you might find that some of these are useful for it or not. But for some people, reminders is wonderful. So let me explain what they do. And I don't have it open right now. I don't have anything on it if I were to open it right now. Let me open it. It's this little app right here. It's empty. So I'm gonna just say continue because I haven't used it in this computer at all. But here in reminders, you can make yourself a little alarm to pop up and say, remember to, I don't know, take your meds in the morning and in the evening. So you make yourself a little alarm so that you get a reminder that says 2 p.m., take your meds, 8 p.m., take your meds. Or you can make yourself a reminder saying, both my sons are graduating. My youngest son is graduating from junior high and my other son is graduating from high school on the same day, right? And so like I have to remind myself to press the whatever, the gowns things. I have to remind myself to hem the pants for the youngest guy. So those are things that they don't deserve a whole appointment in my calendar, right?
Mhm.
So I could just make myself a reminder here to do it. So I could schedule in a reminder and then it'll pop up in my phone screen, or it'll pop up here on my computer screen saying, 2 p.m., time to hem the pants or whatever, right? So actually, I use the calendar for that, which is my calendar gets very clogged up, but I end up using the calendar for the same thing. I use it for appointments such as I have to teach at 1:30 p.m. and at the same time, I put myself at 12:30 p.m. hem the pants. I decided that it's easier for me to see it all in one, but some people love and adore the reminders. So it depends. One good thing that reminders has, one really good thing that reminders has is that say that I make a new reminder that I say, for example, I'm trying to think. There's one that's let me say that I want to buy a certain book. So give me the name of a book. Give me the name of a book that you think I should buy. And I'm drawing a blank.
Sympathizer.
What's that?
The Sympathizer.
The Sympathizer. Okay, buy the Sympathizer. I think that's how you write it. By whatever. By, I don't know, Mike Ross. I don't know. I'm inventing whatever. So say that that's say that that's a book, right? Now I can add the location. So say that I want to buy this when I get into Chaucer's, right? Chaucer's bookstores, and see how I wrote Chaucer's and Chaucer's bookstores appears, right? So I'll click on that. So here's the thing. The way I triggered it by saying that, when I walk into Chaucer's, because if I have location services turned on, remember there where I said location services as the reminder has the location services turned on. When I walk into Chaucer's, my phone pops up and goes,
wow,
by Sympathizers by Mike Ross.
Mm.
Got it? Because but then in my here in my security and privacy, here we go. location services has to have the reminders turn on. See how reminders is turn on in mine? Right there. If reminders is turned on, as far as location services, then when I use my reminders and I told them when I wanted to buy it, so I might not go there for 2 weeks, but the moment I'm in Chaucer's, this pops up and goes, oh, you're in Chaucer's? Don't forget to buy the Sympathizers by Mycroft. See what I mean? It gets triggered because I told it that it could check my location services. Because I might go in there, go, shoot, I had to buy something. What was it? And then I'd have to search all my notes. Where was that name of that book that I had written that I was supposed to buy? But by using it this way, it reminds me. So because I put it right there. So that's an example of reminders. So that's really one of the main reasons when I do use reminders is for it triggering thoughts. Like when I get to the high school, don't forget to go and return the library book or whatever, right? Because I might go in and out of there and go, oh, darn it, I forgot to return the library book, which the calendar won't do that. It won't trigger. It'll remind me to go to the library or remind me to go to the high school, but it won't trigger that little reminder thing. And some people need, anyway, so that's an example. And I can also schedule it. I can schedule it to remind me at, instead of just saying today, I can write information in here and tell it to remind me at a specific time. So here, I told it to remind me at a location. So when I get there, it'll remind me. If instead I want me to remind me at 4 p.m., it'll remind me buy the Sympathizers by Mycroft. You know what I mean? But instead of telling it a time, because I don't know when I'll go. So, just remind me. I don't need to remind me a specific day. Just remind me when I get to that location, when I'm arriving, not when I'm leaving. Thank you. So you might also want to be reminded when you're leaving Chaucer's, don't forget to stop by Janine's and buy a cupcake or something like that, because it's nearby. So I could, when I'm leaving Chaucer's, I can get a little, hey, buy a cupcake. Anyway, I'm kind of joking a little bit, but you know what I mean? That's kind of one way to use the reminders. So it's a different app. It's a different set of choices. I'm going to go back here to the iCloud. So that's what reminders does. Now, some people use it for everything, for shopping lists and whatnot. My lists and stuff like that is better in notes. Just pop-up reminders. Like when you go to the doctor, don't forget to ask this. Have you ever walked out and gone, oh, I never told them about my whatever? So you use the reminders. And when you walk into the doctor's office, boom. Now, what I do, I use my notes. I have a notes. One of my notes is the name of my doctor. So I see my doctor every 6 months or whenever those, or once a year, whenever those checkups have to happen. And over time, if it's not urgent, of course, I'll have written a question. So when I get to my doctors, I go to my notes, I find the note with my doctors and I read the 10 things that I wanted to ask her over the year as it occurred to me. And some are like, oh, I forget, I don't need that anymore. But the other 5, I wouldn't have remembered if I had not been on my notes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's another perfect example of notes for me. But I could also maybe trigger myself with a reminder that when I go to my doctor, don't forget to check your notes, right? Or something like that. Anyway, you can, some people have a mind trap, like a mind made of steel. And that's my husband. He doesn't need all these reminders. I, on the other hand, God, I need to remind myself of stuff because I've got 80 things going on at the same time. And if I didn't use these things, I just would forget. Okay. So, depends on who you are. Half of you are laughing, going, oh my God, why did you need this? And the other half are going, oh my God, you just saved my life. And you could be one or the other, but that's what these things are for. All right, now, calendars, of course, is you just make appointments and like, I make appointments, I make things that I need to do next. I'll show you more about all of these contacts with the phone numbers, email, you get mail. These are the only 2 that are a little bit confusing of what they do. Okay, now, remember I said that I wanted to tell you what the iCloud and what the photos did and why they are so different. So this is something that we're going to start talking about today, and this will spill over to the next class and more, okay? Because this is going to be a long conversation. Let me look at my notes first, though. I'm seeing my chat. It says my notes on my phone says that I have 50 on my phone, but the iCloud I have 86. Okay, so Vicky is asking that. Notice, and open my notes again. for a second, that there's a couple of different things. And if under the iCloud here, under the iCloud, Vicky and yours, it should have a number that should be the same as what's on your phone. But it's possible that you have another note thing that says on my Mac here. And if it says on my Mac, then that one is living only on your Mac and not on your iCloud.
How do I get it over?
Okay, so before the iCloud existed, if you had notes and stuff there, or if you, when you made it, you told it to put it on your Mac, then you need to just kind of copy them over, make a new one in the cloud and then delete the one from your Mac. If you want to, I don't want to stay after class a little bit and I can show you in particular, because this isn't the class to teach you how to do notes, but that would be part why the number, there's a discrepancy. Okay.
I'll hang on. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So now, let me explain. Let me quit notes again. And let me go back to explaining the iCloud and the photos, why you should not turn these on and off willy-nilly. So photos take up a ton of space. Videos take up a ton of space. And even though this app is called Photos, it also, anytime you press the video on your phone and take a video instead of a photo, you know, you can do that. It also goes into this Photos app. So this is Photos. It should be called Photos and Videos, but I guess it wouldn't be so catchy. So it's just called Photos. All right. Before I continue, I'm noticing that Herman had his hand up for a while. Herman, do you have a question?
I was wondering what happens with music.
Same. It's not one of these. There's a whole nother set. There's a whole nother set of things, like down here on the left. You see my mouse? It says
Yes.
media and purchases. So then here you get to decide what you do or don't do with purchases and media and stuff like that. So you can have a couple of other choices now. In the music app, if you go down here in the bottom, it used to be we had something called iTunes. Now we don't. Now we have music and podcasts. And if you have Apple TV, it shows up there. You might not have it, but the dock still shows them to you. Like, for example, you might not use the reminders, but the dock shows the reminders to you or something. So if you have music in your music app, then that, if I turn it on right now, it will show up as not unused. So this is the computer where I don't have it connected. But basically you connect it through the app to your data, and you can have the same stuff on your phone as you have on your computer, but you do it through the app instead of doing it through the iCloud. Okay, because it used to be a separate thing, iTunes, and now it's not iTunes anymore, but it's still not controlled through the cloud. So it's a slightly different conversation. I don't have music set up here, so I can't show you.
So it's not backed up.
It is, and the same with podcasts. It isn't back. No, let me see. It's within the apps that you need to say whether you want this to be backed up. And I don't have the way to show you, because this computer that I'm showing it to you, I don't have any of that set up. So I'm gonna have to set something up more so I can show you how that works. Okay, I don't have it set up in here. But I'll answer that as we get further into the apps, which is really what I do in macOS level 2. I work with apps, but over the weeks as I answer other questions, other things will come up about them. But before we can completely get deeply into that, I need to show you what the iCloud Drive is. And in the iCloud Drive, you'll see how music and podcasts work inside of that. So let me finish talking about this, and then we'll work with those choices. So here's the thing, and this is the part that where it gets, if you were a little bit confused before, now you might open your brain to something you might not think is the way it is. Because this is where it gets a little bit confusing, because half of our computers in this class are set up one way and half are set up the other way. And this is what I'm trying to say. The photos and the iCloud Drive are places that you could have a lot of material that weighs a lot, so to say. This can be big stuff. And they can either live only on your phone, only on your computer, or on the cloud, on the iCloud, right? And if you want your photos to be on the iCloud, like this check mark says yes, then you need to have more than the basic amount of iCloud Drive space that Apple gives you. So for free, just because you own a computer, Apple gives you 5 gigabytes to use. Once you run out of that space, you start getting those messages that you don't have any more space on your computer. You guys received on your iCloud? Have you guys received those messages saying you don't have space on your iCloud?
Yes.
Seen those in the past? Yeah. And that's because you've been given 5 gigabytes for free. And that works for all of this stuff. For notes, for Safari, for contacts, for mail, for all of that stuff. Basically to connect your phones to your iPad and to your iPad to your Mac to whatever. 5 gigabytes works. That's all you need. And that's what they give you for free. But the moment you want to start storing a ton of photos or a ton of files, well, it's not enough. So that's when you need to start buying space. Okay, does that make sense? How many of you guys know that already and you already buy space?
I do.
On your computer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say like 90% of Mac users buy space. Now there's a couple of different amounts that you can spend on buying space. It could be that you pay $1. Here, I'm going to go to this word manage, and it shows you how much storage costs. So over here, it says manage. If you click on change storage plan, here we go. You could be paying $2.99 a month for 200 gigabytes, which is what I'm paying right now because I used to be paying only downgrade options. Oh, okay, give me a second. Doesn't seem to want to give you easy downgrade options. So give me a sec. So you could either pay less, free 5 gigabytes, 50 gigabytes for just $1 a month, $12 a year. Right now it says I can't because I have more stuff than that. So it doesn't let me, that's why the check mark. Or you can pay 200 gigabytes, or you can pay $9.99 a month for bazillions, I don't know, 2 terabytes or something like that. So the thing is that I was paying 50 gigabytes for me, 50 gigabytes for my husband, 50 gigabytes for my son, and I was getting 150 gigabytes for $3. And I discovered that for $3, I could get 200 gigabytes. So I switched to this plan and we share it with a family plan. So that's why I moved up to this one, because basically it gives us more for the same amount of money, right? So I'll tell you about the shared family plan right now. But up until a few months ago, I was just paying for this one, which is the one that most people are paying.
Turn it off.
Okay. What's that?
No, sorry.
Turn the sound off. Someone's talking with someone in the background. Okay. So most people graduate pretty quickly to the $1 a month, 99 cents a month. That's a typical amount of $12 a year, so that you can have more things in your computer and in your phone that live on the cloud, mainly photographs and videos. Okay. So if you take a lot of photos with your phone and you want them not to live just on your phone, because if you drop your phone or crack your phone, they are gone and lost forever, then you have to buy more storage. And those photos go to the cloud. Now, if you have this check mark on, I'm canceling now, cancel. If you have this check mark on, I have to get out of this mode. So there we go. Both on your phone and on your computer, then every time you take a picture of your cat, your daughter, your best friend, the beautiful little flower that grew in your front yard, that photo automatically goes to the cloud and goes to your computer if this check mark is on. Okay, on both sides, on your phone and on your computer. Thing is, if you do that, you for sure have to pay more. All right, because there's no way 5 gigabytes can hold your photos and your videos. So that is a for sure that you need to turn it on. If you take a ton of photos and videos, your phone tends to have less space than your computer and gets full soon. So then you can turn on your phone, something that says optimize phone storage, or you can turn on your computer, optimize back storage. When you turn this on, if photos is on, if you turn that on, then your photos will stay on the cloud in full size, and small versions will come to your computer and small versions will be on your phone. And the cloud will hold all the big photos. So now I'm going to share my phone with you guys. Although my phone doesn't have the same, I'm going to stop this share. I'm going to share from this other computer. You guys might have different settings here, and it's okay. It depends on what you're doing. So this is my other computer, and you see how I do not have the Photos app turned on this one at all? In this computer, if I take a picture on my phone, those phones do not come to this computer. They stay on the phone and on the cloud. Does that make sense?
This
Now,
is showing your phone or your computer?
this is always the system preferences is always going to be my computer. I have 2 computers I'm teaching from. So I was showing you one computer. Now I'm showing you the other computer. It's a good question, just to clarify. The phone always has the green bubbles, and these check marks always mean computer. So on this computer, I've decided not to have the photos come in to my computer. So I have it off. So that means that my photos only live on my phone and on the cloud. Now that's a choice. Again, this is a sample computer. My real computer doesn't have either one or the other. It has an in-between choice. And that in-between choice is a choice that I'll speak more about when you take the class that deals with photographs, which is called, and it's a weird class name. And let me tell you the class name so that when you see on the catalog, you know what it is. It's called Living the iLife. Okay. That class called Living the iLife teaches you how to use the Photos app, how to manage photographs and video on your phone and on your computer. That's what that class does. Okay. Now I usually teach that in the summer. They didn't schedule it for the summer for me this time. I usually teach it in the fall. They didn't schedule it in the fall. So I just was talking to Emma yesterday about please scheduling it in the fall, because that is that is a pretty crucial class that people all need to take to really understand what to do. Okay. So I'm hoping that it's scheduled for the fall. I did ask her to, she's on it. She's trying to figure it out. Okay. So Living the iLife, badly named as it is an awesome class for you to figure out what to do with your photos. As it is a long class and it takes me all that time to tell you how to handle it. So I can't even begin to deeply get into what you need to do with your photos right now. All I can tell you is what this check mark means. And if your phone, if you look at your Photos app and they're not on your computer, that's probably because this is turned off. So if this is on, then the photos are showing up on your computer. The only problem if you want negative means that that's using up a lot of space up in the cloud and that you should be paying more. If you're paying more and you turn this off, it'll say, I don't have space. I can't do this. So you need to start paying for space on the cloud. Okay. As I said, $1 a month, $12 a year, it's not that much. But if and when you run out of that space, you might need to move up to $2.99 a month. I don't know of anyone who needs more space than that, but who knows? Maybe some of you need. Is anyone paying more than $2.99 a month? Once I heard someone was paying the $9.99 a month. Are you paying $9.99 a month, Vera? And are you using all that? Like over here in the cloud storage, does it seem like you're using all that space, that you need that? I can't hear you. You need to turn your,
Oh,
there you
yeah,
go.
I'm at 173.9 and I'd like to trash a lot of stuff.
173 gigabytes,
Yes,
but you're paying $9.99, so you're not paying for 200 gigabytes, you're paying for 2 terabytes if you're paying $9.99. So 173 is like 1/20th of the space that you're paying for.
yeah.
Like you could be paying $2.99.
It says, there's one account that is $2.99 and another one is $9.99. But my computer says 200 gigabytes available.
That's the $2.99 a month then.
Okay.
So what you're paying $9.99 for, I don't know. And unless you're
It's
someone.
the Photoshop Lightroom package.
Oh, no, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
That's Adobe Lightroom and Photoshop. And yeah, no, that has nothing to do with Apple. That's a whole different company, a whole different thing. So you're paying $2.99 for this. Yeah, I was saying, I don't know anyone really who needs $9.99 on Apple, because you can take a ton of photos and videos and it fits in this at this point if you optimize your phone storage and your Mac storage. Yes, Bonnie? I can't hear you.
I pay $9.99 because I'm too lazy to go through my 20,000 photos and deal with them. So I think I need your iLife class.
Okay, all right, there you go. But she's also in my Photoshop class and all those kind of things. So that's fine. I mean, by the way, it's not expensive as far as storage is concerned to hold all your photos in a safe place and in a safe way. But if you don't need it and it's just holding junk, then it's your choice. It's just it's an extra payment you don't need to make.
You know, one thing I might say, I did have them separated on hard drives, different hard drives, but I found it very inconvenient not to be able to get at family photos of 15 years ago or something. And so I gave in and I left it all there, and I'm paying the money so I can easily get to those photos without, I'm not optimizing Lightroom at all yet, because it means I have to connect a bunch of hard drives.
Yeah, don't even like bring in the Lightroom conversation here. That's a whole nother issue, and it's got nothing to do with this, but yeah. She does photos more professionally. She does websites and stuff. So she has the kind of use of this stuff that is beyond the normal users use. Okay. Yeah. But here under your iCloud storage, what does it say? How much, not what does it say, how much of it is used? Like, do you really use it all? How much do you use it? What percentage of it are you using?
Me?
Down here. Yeah.
I have to open it up and see. I think I have some left. Okay. I was just looking at it, but
I'm assuming that if you're following the class that it's open, but if
I
you're
am, but I pushed it out of the way because I was looking at something else. So
that's fine. So you can tell me later. But what I'm saying is I want to see, based on all the photos that you say you have, how much space it's taking you. Okay. So I
have 1.5 terabyte left.
Okay. So of 2 terabytes that you're paying for, you still have 1.5 terabytes. So you're using basically 500 gigabytes. Okay. So yeah, she is using more than the 200. She's using 500 gigabytes. So she truly does need to pay $9.99 a month. Okay.
Yeah.
But you just want to make sure that you're paying $9.99 for something you're using. Otherwise it's not, don't use it if you don't have that amount of stuff, but she's using it. So yay, that's the next step. And she has access to all the past years of hundreds and thousands of photos that she has made by paying that much. Okay. All right. Yeah. For more detail on that, we'll talk much more detail in the class. But the most important thing here is that if this is turned on both your phone and on your computer, that means that when you take a picture, it's going to the cloud and it's going to your phone. And if you run out of space, you just need to pay more. And the important thing is, if you're running out of space on your computer, okay, like Yolanda, she's running out of space on her computer, then you should have optimized Mac storage turned on. If on your phone, the equivalent thing, if you're running out of space on your phone, then you need to have optimize phone storage turned on. Okay. Otherwise, this would, all the photos that are coming into your computer would take up a ton of space. And this way, by having this check turned on, then on your computer, you see the photos and you can send them to friends and you can print them if you're going to print a small photo. But if you're going to print a big, like 16 by 40 print, you'll need the big full file, and that one's waiting for you up in the cloud. That's all this means. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yes.
I know that I'm saying that makes sense and you're all, well, I'm not sure, I don't use the app yet, but basically it's like, where are your photos? There they are, they're in the cloud. And if the both sides are check marked, they're going down. Now, I personally, since I'm a professional photographer, I actually don't have this checked mark on my phone and on my cloud because I would have to pay even more than $9.99, and I just don't have that kind of money. So I do something else. But remember, that's my profession. I have way beyond the normal amount of photos. So I have a plan C that when we take like the photos class, I'll teach you what that plan C or B or Z might be. Okay. For those of you who are in that situation, which is only a few of you guys, but some of you guys are in my Photoshop classes have that situation. You're taking raw photos or stuff. And so you might need something other than this. But usually this is enough for just about every normal person who is not necessarily a professional photographer. Lonnie, did you raise your hand? No, I thought I saw your hands raised. Okay. Let me see. Vicky, so I don't really need an external storage device anymore since I have plenty of iCloud storage. Okay. That's a different question, which I now am going to continue addressing by talking about the iCloud Drive. But as we finish this whole conversation of space and where stuff is, you'll begin to get more of an answer to that one. I still have 6 external storage devices, so there's a reason to have them for backups versus, so we'll talk more about that as we keep going. Can we still sync under Catalina or Big Sur? Big wants to know, because Bill in his older computers has always been syncing at pleasure when he wants, instead of letting the thing push. I don't know the answer to that, Bill. It's not about Catalina or Big Sur. Well, it is in a way. It's just that in Catalina, they took out iTunes. So you used to use iTunes to sync. And I don't know now without iTunes if there's any way to sync. I really don't know the answer to that. I am out of my depths because I've never looked it up. So I might have to look up the answer to that question for you, Bill, because I don't know.
Catalina now still says photos, not iTunes anymore. So they've changed it from, no, it still says iTunes. So it's the old system.
Catalina doesn't have iTunes anymore.
No, I'm sorry. El Capitan still has the iTunes. So it may not.
Yeah, they had it until, in fact, Mojave still had iTunes. The first time iTunes disappeared was with Catalina. So, but maybe there's a different way to sync. So for example, just so you know, photos, I sync. This is just for Bill. Everyone else go, yeah, because I don't want like to confuse you. But Bill, I still sync my photos directly to photos from my phone, even though I'm in Catalina. Okay, but not everything that's in my whole background, just the photos. Okay. He's taken my classes and he knows what I'm talking about. That plan C that we're talking about, he's the only other one I know that does that. And so I'm answering to that, but that won't be an answer to the general population. Okay. Leslie, if my iPad says the storage is full, may I uncheck photos on iCloud Drive on the iPad? If I do that, will the cloud still have all the photos on it? That's a great question, Leslie. Yeah, before you uncheck the photos, see if you can first check the optimized photos on your iPad version. Leslie, where are you? Looking up, there you go.
I've already optimized the photos on the
Okay.
iPad. It's a very
right.
old iPad and it's
yeah,
got a lot of memory.
Yeah, so that's the thing about these old iPads that, you know, in comparison, like the old iPhones, they have very little storage. Now they come with much more storage. So if you completely run out of storage, this is important for everyone to hear. One option, Leslie might have said, and Bonnie kind of hinted at it, you can just get rid of a lot of old stuff, right? Well, be careful. If you get rid of it from your iPad and you do have the Photos app turned on, checked across the board between the computer and the phone and the cloud and everything, that photo gets deleted everywhere. And that question was something that Lily asked last week too. If your stuff is all connected and you delete you add someone's phone number in one place, it shows up in someone else's, he adds Lily's phone number that I just met on the street, it shows up in my phone and on my computer. If I delete it from my phone, it deletes from my computer, right? Same with your photos. If you take a picture with your camera and it shows up immediately on your iPad or on your computer, if you delete that photo, it disappears from your iPad and your computer. Okay, so be careful. That whole cleanup, you can't just say, I want more space on my iPad, which isn't what Leslie's saying, but I'm just saying because a lot of people might think that. You might think, well, I'll just delete this from my iPad and it'll just show up in the other places. You cannot do that unless you disconnect your iPad from the whole iCloud. Okay.
So if I uncheck the iCloud drive if I uncheck the photos on the iPad, I can
then
eliminate photos from the iPad and they'll still be in the cloud.
Yes, they'll be in the cloud. And this is the part that gets a little bit sketchy. We need to look, depending on your software and your stuff, they should still be on the cloud, but you want to first double check your model of iPad and everything to make sure that it's, because it's old, that it's still doing that. Because sometimes what it does is they stay on the pad and not on the cloud. Thus, your pad is still full and the cloud doesn't have your photos, which is the way I have it set up. My cloud does not have my photos. I don't have enough space for my iCloud to have my photos. My photos go straight from my device to my computer because I have a lot of space on my computer and I do not have a lot of space on the iCloud. So if I were to uncheck it like that, like you, what might happen is your computer, your pad is still just as full, but the stuff is not on the cloud. So you don't have that backup. That's probably what will happen, unless you already have all the stuff also on your computer, right? If it's already also on your computer, then if you take them off your iPad by unchecking first, then they're still safe because they're already on your computer. Okay, so that's why it gets a little bit scary. And this is why I said, don't uncheck these willy-nilly, because the opposite of what you think might happen could happen. Okay.
Maybe I just should buy a new iPad with more storage.
Yeah, or you make sure first that all the photos are in your computer. Every single photo that you have is in your computer already. It transferred from the cloud to your computer. If they're all on your computer, then you can uncheck from your iPad and delete them from your iPad, but they're all safe already on your computer. You just need to make sure that other step has happened, like they've already downloaded into your computer.
So they need to be full, whatever they call it, not minimized on the computer.
No, they can be optimized as long as they're on your computer and your computer also has the photos checked, then they stay on your photos and on the iCloud. If you disconnect your iPad and then delete your iPad, you're safe. But then no photos you take on your iPad will ever go to your computer, just so you know, when you uncheck, that's all. But at least you can still keep using your iPad without having it be clogged before you're ready to buy another one. All right. So it's kind of like a series of steps. I don't want this to get confusing for people who don't have iPads or not. All I'm saying is this is not a lightly unchecked box, because instead of having the stuff in where you think, it might end up in the other thing, which is kind of Leslie's question. So you want to first make sure that your photos are safe before you disconnect, because once you disconnect, they leave the iCloud and they stay only in the devices. And then if you delete that device, they become two different sets of photos. And that, a little bit what happened to Bill is that he had different kind of libraries going on where things had been connected and synced differently. So he never knew if a photo was in one or another. So he kept running all these options because who knows if they were here or there. You want to avoid that. You want to have either you have it or you don't have it. You don't want to have tons of different, like, did I take the photo on the iPad or on the computer? I don't know, but if it's here, I don't want to delete it here, it'll delete there. Then it gets really confusing. You want to have everything connected. So if you the easiest solution is to have this turned on and have everything running through and just pay enough to have everything running through. As Bonnie said, that's the best solution. Like she chose that in the end because it's the easiest solution, but it is more expensive once you start running out of space. So if one of your devices is really old, maybe it's cheaper, yeah, at some point to buy a new device than to keep paying $9.99 a month for more storage. You know what I mean? In the long run, over the months, you'll pay off your device, your new the device with more space. Okay. Let me see. I've gotten my alarm that says I need to show people how to access the handouts. So I need to move into that because we only have a few more minutes. Not yet, but soon. But so let me see. How do I handle digital mistakes with photos of my thumb from all devices?
Okay, when you
thumb
make a
drive?
mistake, you're taking a picture and your hand is in front of the camera. I don't want that photo. It's a mistake. And I deleted it and there it is on the other device. There it is on the other device.
Well, that's not possible. If you have it all set up correctly and you delete it like correctly, like this, where your photos is on one and on the other and on the other, when you delete it, it should be deleting. So your settings, we would have to look at your settings right now. Do you have everything checked on 100%? Like, yes, check mark. You don't have a little line?
No,
because
they're all on.
Okay, so what we'll need to do is run a test. Take a, I've done this in the photos class where you take a picture, instantly you look at your camera, your computer, it's there. You delete it from one, it deletes. You delete it from the other, it deletes. And some people have it set up that they have told their computer to not delete what's deleted. So there's some options where that can happen, but take a picture of something very different than anything you have, take a picture of your shoe, something there's only one of, and then open your computer, see if it appears. If it appears, then delete it from your phone, and then watch and see if it deletes from your computer. And by the way, I'm going to let you do it on your time. I'm not going to do it right now. Check that out and then tell me when we're meeting again, what's happening with that. Okay, because if it's all set up without any weird interruptions of the system, it should disappear from one and from the other once you delete it.
Okay, I'll thank you.
When I got my pro, I delete all these photos about duplicates of photos and videos and all this stuff I have to answer in the photos class. It's just, there's too much to teach you in this class that I can't teach you the whole photos class inside of the intro to Mac class. So I can't answer that right now, Debbie. But part of that might be answered when we get to the Mac level 1 class, when I deal with file management. So a lot of this has to do with file management, and that's what Mac OS level 1 is all about. Okay.
Yeah,
So
as memory stick thing, it somehow it eliminates duplicates, but that's just on a external thing.
Yeah, the whole memory stick thing scares me a little bit, or the photo stick. I have never used it, but what I don't know how good or bad it is. My fear is that if I think it the way I think it works, for me, it wouldn't work because I have so many photos with the same name. I have so many photos that over the years, after a few years, I get the same number on a photo again, but that same number photo 3 years ago was a photo of my child when he was 7 years old, and 3 years later, it's a photo of my child when he was 13. It has the same file name, and I'm afraid that these kind of systems don't distinguish. They just see similar file names and they get rid of the duplicate. But I don't know. Maybe they actually go into the photo and they check and see that the imagery is different. I don't know. It's a brand. I don't know. I'd be leery of them. But on the other hand, but someone has to try it and tell me how it works, and then I'll see if right now I don't know. When they're really simplistic like that, they tend to do a very simplistic job, which is basically they say the same file name and they get rid of it. So I don't know. I don't trust it. But I might be wrong. Okay, so Yolanda, I'll teach you how to use notes in the Mac OS level 2 class. But in Mac OS level, but I can show you a little bit more about notes at some point if you ask me here and there. But for the most part, I don't really show you how to use apps until we get to that class. All right, so guys, one last thing. I kind of explained to you the whole photos thing. The last thing I need to explain to you is the iCloud Drive. We're not going to go deep into that right now. I'm just going to give you a few words about this, which is very important, which is the following. Half of you-ish, all of you think that your files are on your computer, all of you, right? If you've made something you've written, if you've written letters, if you've whatever, things that you've made, anyone who makes things, and I'm saying not all of you make things. Many of you guys send and receive emails and then do things on the internet, and that's it. But those of you who, on top of that, also create things, like they write letters, or they write spreadsheets, or they make designs on their photo. You know, I'm trying to think of other things that you might do. Those files, we tend to think, live on the computer we made them on, right? Well, what we're going to discover is about some of you, half of you will have the files on the computer you made them, and half of you will have them in the cloud and not on the computer made them on. And you won't know the difference until we check this out. So watch. Don't ever turn this off yet. Again, kind of like the photos, it's a big deal. Click on the options that's right next to the iCloud Drive. And you will have here something that's either checked or unchecked for the word desktop and documents folders. Don't change it either. Please don't change these things. Just observe. Just observe. Okay. So in case you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm in the system preferences. I went into the Apple ID or the iCloud app for the people with older versions. And then there's something called the iCloud Drive, which I have not told you yet what this is. It's different than the iCloud, and it's different than the cloud. It's a third thing. But for now, click on the options and then see whether you have a check mark here or not. And now everyone please answer by lifting your hands, like raise a hand if it's checked, and say no, a virtual hand, like a hand. Not a thumb. The thumb disappears in 3 seconds, Vera. So I need the raise hands, not the thumb up top. Yeah, because the thumb just disappears. So raise your hands if it's checked and say no, or red little checkbox if it is not checked.
Sorry, what is checked?
Okay, so when you see this iCloud Drive, click on options. Yeah. The first choice, the documents and desktop folders. This one. Okay. If it's checked, raise your hand. If it's not checked, say no. Those are the only two options for that one. It's either on or off. So on the Zoom, Mary says no, it's unchecked. Many hands are up saying it is checked. Vera, the thumbs up doesn't work. Do you have a raised hand? Thumbs up works, but it disappears. How about Lonnie, Al, Carol, Herman, Vicky?
No.
You're a no, okay. And if you need to find where the no is, go to the Zoom tools reactions.
Yeah.
And find the little thumbs up, not the thumbs up, the other way around. The hand, the raised hand, or the no. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Lonnie, how about yours? I can't hear you. Do you want to share your screen and I'll help you find it?
Donna's is a no.
Donna's is it's a no, not a raised hand. Okay, so go to the reactions and say lower your hand and click on the little red X.
Okay.
And that's a no. Okay. Herman is a no. Julie, are you a raised hand? Yes, it's on, or are you a no?
I cannot
No,
even get
it's
into it, so,
All right, so then share your screen, because this is crucial. This is not one of those things that I'll explain once and forget about it. This is crucial to understand Mac OS level 1, Mac OS level 2. This is a crucial thing. So if you can't find it, this is when I get to help you. All right, so this is Lonnie, right? You're sharing? Now go into the little, on the left side, the third choice down is a little cloud looking thing. Click on that cloud. Okay, now the iCloud Drive on the right side, it says options. Go to the options. Yep. And it's on. So you are a yes, raised hand. Okay, so go raise your hand. Yours is on. See over there? So now I can stop your share. Same with you, Julie. Share your screen because
I can't get into, the passwords are my husband's and they're not working on my computer. So I just can only listen. I'm screwed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, you're not screwed. There's another way to find out if your stuff is on or off. So I'll teach you, but I'll teach you that tomorrow. One thing I want to say, when you share a computer like Julie does.
I don't. That's the problem. He has his own computer and the Mac store must have done something. Because when I
Is this
open
a
it
new-
up, it's got my husband's name on it. So I don't know what
All
happened.
right. Well, I can help you fix that, but it would take a lot of time.
Sure.
But certainly you can make an appointment with the Mac Genius bar. You know how to do that? And you go in and they reset it for you.
Okay.
But how long have you had it?
It's been about 3 weeks that we had to
Okay.
take it in.
Okay, so then that's important because if you reset it with your name, whatever's on it right now won't be on it anymore, as long as you don't have stuff in there that you really need. Does that make sense what I mean? If so, you need to copy that stuff out onto an external hard drive so that it resets with you and your stuff, and then you put that stuff in there again. Okay?
Yeah.
But
We have-
you need to
I have
tell
this.
them you need help. Yeah. So you need help from a tech guy to help you
Yeah.
do that.
right, thank you.
Because if you've lost access to your stuff, it doesn't even connect to your phone. Like what she's saying, you guys, her Apple ID on her computer is not her Apple ID, it's her husband's. So what this means, imagine all of the stuff that she's taking on her phone is going online and then has nowhere to go because it's not going into her computer because her computer does not have her Apple ID. Okay, so this thing that we're talking about is not happening with her.
Yeah, I only have an
What's
Android.
going in and out is her husband's stuff.
Yeah.
Okay?
I only have an
So it's like
Android.
it's
I
on
only
the
have an
computer.
Android, so I don't have an iPhone.
Okay, so in that sense, it's not mattering, but still, if you try to do stuff on your computer and it doesn't, there's other reasons why you need your
Right.
Apple ID to be your own versus your husband's.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah,
in fact, to be able to even access all this stuff. Okay, so all right, so here's what it means, and I'm going to actually do a screenshot of your guys's answers. Vicky, were you a no or a yes? There's nothing turned on right now. Can you please turn on? I'm going to do a screenshot, so I'd like you to turn a no on so I can screenshot your answers. So the only one who doesn't have an answer right now is Julie because of the fact that she can't do. By the way, you could see this even without your password. You could be seeing this, Julie, but it's meaningless, as you said, in the sense that it's not your stuff. But anyway, actually, that's not true.
Well, the
It's
thing
not
is,
meaningless. It does matter. You should go ahead and choose, go and you can do this without having his password. You can go to the system preferences and click on, because the first time you click on it, it asks you for your password and that's where you can't get in. Okay, forget it. We'll get there. We'll figure it out. I'll tell you how to find this out another way. All right, here's what this means. And it's 4:40 and I didn't get around to showing people how to get to their handout. So I need to hurry through this one. If it's checked on, your stuff, anything that's on your computer, in your desktop and in your documents folder is actually on the cloud. It's on the cloud. It's on the cloud and you see it in your computer as well. But really it's living in the cloud. So if you were to not take your computer and travel to Europe, if you access the cloud, which I haven't told you yet, but you can access the cloud online, you could access those files because they are on the cloud. So if you go to your iCloud online and open up your iCloud account, that one that I said holds all your stuff online, you can access it with any computer's web browser. And there you go. You'll see all your stuff that's on your computer, only you're in some other part of the world without your computer. Yay, it's on the cloud. The only drawback to that, well, storage. If you have a lot of stuff, you again need to pay for storage. Okay, obviously, just like the photos. So that's the one drawback. For those of you who said no, your stuff lives on your computer. So if you try to access it from anywhere else and you forgot your computer at home, it's on your computer. It's like you want to eat a sandwich, but the sandwich is in your refrigerator and you're someone else's house. Forget it. You have to wait until you come home to eat that sandwich. So you basically have your stuff only on your computer. If your computer dies, if something happens to it, your only salvation is if you actually have a backup happening with an external hard drive, because all your stuff is living on your computer and maybe only on an external hard drive if you're doing a backup, time machine backup, which I'll teach you how to do. Okay, so that's the benefit or the advantage or the disadvantages of each one is you don't have to pay for extra storage. So if you have a ton of stuff, like I have a ton of stuff, my computer is full of stuff. I have big files, big photos, mainly people who do photos and videos, like that is when it gets really big. Then I don't have to pay for the gazillions of storage, $9.99 or something like that, because I just keep my stuff on an external drive next to my computer. I told you I have like 6 drives, right? So I don't have my stuff on the cloud. Now, that means that when I go to visit my mom in Argentina, I can't access my files. So there is a way to put some things on the cloud, but I can't put everything on the cloud, versus people who had, yes, a check mark, your stuff that's on your computer is there. So you're fine. You can get your stuff from anywhere. So now we're going to spend much more time dealing with that divide and that decisions, and you can choose one or the other. You can choose to decide to have your stuff not online. You can have choose to say, oh, I want my stuff online. You can make those choices. Right now, don't change anything. Just know, because if you suddenly decide, oh, I don't want it online, and you turn that check mark off, oh, the stuff ends up not on your computer, but online instead of on your computer. So it's a whole nother problem. It's the opposite of what Leslie asked me about the photos. Okay, it's weird. So
device specific, right?
Your computer stuff has desktop and documents. Your iPad and your phone don't have desktop and documents. So this is only your computer stuff.
Okay.
That goes up. That said, no. But I mean, please, that's a distinction that's important. But if on your iPad and you have your phone, you have the app for the iCloud Drive, you can see them on your phone. It's just that you can't open a Word file on your phone if you don't also have the Word app on your phone. So, but you could have the stuff that's on your computer opened up. Like I have the Word app on my phone. So if I have something on my phone that's Word, that's on the iCloud, I could open it on my phone through the online Word version, stuff like that. So here's the deal. There's no good and bad in this. There's just understanding and choices. Oh, Michael, I never got your answer of whether your stuff is on one or the other. But anyway, so here's the deal. Don't make switches. Keep living through this, learning what your computer is capable of as we go through the classes. And at some point, you'll decide that you've heard enough about one or the other and you want to switch. You would rather have more of this or that, or you're totally happy with your choices. Right now, live with your choices. Learn how to use what things where they are. And I'll tell you the benefits and the pros and cons of them as we move forward in all these classes. Right now, you just know that those of you who have raised your hands, your stuff is in both places. And those of you who haven't know, your stuff, it lives only on your computer. Okay, that's the main distinction right now. There's more to it. We're going to keep talking, but that's the most important thing you need to know.
When you talk about the different documents in another class, like Automator, what that is, for example.
Automator is for scripts, which is way beyond something that we're going to be doing in this class. So I won't talk about Automator. No, but which other ones would you like me to talk about?
They're all checked except for desktop and documents folder, but should I uncheck Automator? I don't do what you just said.
No. Whatever's on, leave things that are on, leave things that are off. As we talk about stuff, you'll make decisions, but don't be suddenly turning things on and off. These are scripts that run to make your computer work well or not. And even if you don't use it, you don't want to be turning it off and have certain things stop working. So some things you might never use, but that doesn't mean that you don't, like I never check my stocks. Sure, I might as well turn it off, right? But other stuff that you don't know what it is, I mean, I don't check my stuff, so I don't have any. I don't know how am I going to retire, but someday will come the day and then we'll figure it out. But it doesn't mean that you won't have stocks. It just won't mean that you won't have a widget to check the stocks. That's all this means. So anyway, by the way, this weather here, Lily, check and see maybe if this weather thing is off on yours. I don't know. I think it was more your
I think the computer don't have the app.
Okay, that's what's missing. Okay. All right, so there's much more to talk to you about these things. This is a whole different set of choices, okay? I only wanted to talk about the top one to start with. We'll explain why or what all the rest are on or off as we go along. But right now, leave your choices as they are. Just begin to understand that anything that's on the cloud can or not be on your computer or not. And most importantly, don't make any abrupt changes, because the worst thing that can happen is that next time we meet, you tell me, oh, I turned it off and suddenly I can't find my things. Then I have to spend half an hour trying to figure out how to get your things back. Don't, okay? Don't do anything like that until we have time to explain. All right. I'm going to show really quickly now how to get to the handouts. I'm going to send everyone the recording again, but if you look at the recordings, I'm not going to show everyone how to hit it. Most of you know, because you didn't raise your hands. 2 people said they couldn't get to them. So I'm going to use one of you guys, Lonnie, and I think, was it Vera or Debbie? One of you guys more than Lonnie said you couldn't get to them.
Me.
Al, so one of you guys share your screen and, oh, Donis, that was it. Lonnie and Donis and now Al. One of you guys share your screen. I'll help you get there. The other one, watch and try to do it parallel. And everyone else who wants to stay. And if you want to go, class is officially over. So I'll see you guys on Thursday. Meanwhile, Lonnie or Donis, there you go. Lonnie is sharing her screen. Perfect.
We'll see you on Tuesday.
See you on Thursday.
Tuesday.
Oh God, today is Thursday. See you on Tuesday.
Don't confuse us.
Sorry, thank you. Yes, see you on Tuesday. I've been saying all this time, last week, next week. All right, I've been living as if it's Tuesday. All right, so let's close all of this, say done from there. And close the system preferences. Move out of there. Yeah, close this just to have one less thing to do. Okay, now let's go down to Safari or Google. What do you use for the browser? I recommend Safari. If you use Chrome, then use Chrome. Okay, go Chrome. Click on Chrome. Just so you know, Chrome uses much more of your system resources than does Safari. So if you're running slow like you are, and you're sharing your screen and you're doing a bunch of stuff right now, then it's probably better to use Safari in the future. Okay, go to Pipeline, go to spcc.edu. No, that's not through there, not where it's shivering. Go up to the top where it says Easy Mail Center. Yeah, click on that. Click on that. Click on the word Easy Mail. No, that's just a lock you're clicking on. Click on the word Easy Mail and now just type spcc.edu. Hit the return key. All right, go to the left to the big P for Pipeline. Log in. No, it's all in there already. You already put it in. So now just go to the word login. It's been memorized. So click login. Okay, so you might have a bad password in there. That's different. So go ahead and put in your password. No. Delete what's there. Otherwise it'll be wrong again. And you only have 5 strikes before you're locked out. There we go. Okay, say login now. All right, go to the student non-credit tab on, go ahead and say update your password, because obviously the one that you had in there was wrong. So say update password. That way in the future you can just have it down the bottom right button, the blue that says update password, yeah. You have 7 compromised passwords. Okay, this means that your passwords have been found in different hacks and stuff. So I can tell you about that later. But anyway, go to student non-credit. Chrome is letting you know that, and all those email hacks that get, maybe you shopped at Target, maybe you shopped here and there. Your email, your password was exposed. So you might want to change your passwords. Okay, so go to the left now. Left, where it says big old pipeline in red. See where, okay, right underneath that, it says student non-credit. There we go, student non-credit. Click on that. Okay, now on the far right of that window, it says class resources and it says Google Drive. Go all the way to the far right. You might have Zoom stuff in the way. Go down, down, down. You're there now. Oh, a little bit 2 up. Google Drive, 1 up, 1 up. That's Google Groups. Go 1 up. Yeah, Google Drive. Perfect. So hopefully Al and Vera, you're following through. Now, Al, if your issue is the pipeline account, that you need tech help with.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
understand.
All right, now on the left where you see that it's highlighted My Drive. Okay, right underneath it says Shared Drives. All right, click on Shared Drives. Cool, there's your Mac Intro Level 1. Double click. And you're in. These are all the handouts. And on the top left, the thing that's right under your mouse, that's a Zoom class recordings. I will be putting, that's where I put all the links. So later tonight, I'll be putting a link for today's class recording. Scroll down and you'll see a bunch of handouts. So move your mouse to the, move your mouse into where you see, move on to all these things that say Zoom class recording and links. Your mouse, yeah, scroll down now. Scroll down with a, I don't know if you have a mouse that scrolls. Didn't you have a little wheel, or do you have a laptop? There it is. Okay. If you have a laptop, you can scroll like that. Okay. So there you go. Those are all the class handouts. Over there, I have a nice handout for cloud, iCloud versus Dropbox. You're the one who had the issues with Dropbox. There it explains a little bit. Okay. All right, and the topmost, if you go all the very top, is the Zoom links for the class recordings. That one, Zoom class recording links. Okay, double click on that. And if you want to watch any of the other classes, those are the first 3. By the end of tonight, you'll have a link for the 4th one, et cetera, et cetera. All right, now you know how to get in. Any questions there, Vera or Al? I need to go because I have a whole nother class. Oh, a lot of you guys stayed around. Vera, I don't know what you're showing me. Can you?
I got it. I just hadn't opened. I had to do it from my laptop because my mouse just died.
Okay, I don't see it, but that's okay. If you're there, you're there. That's
It's
good.
in a list
Al?
form. Yeah.
Yeah, I got into everywhere where she was. And
Share your screen, share your screen.
okay.
Explaining takes longer than just sharing it.
Share.
Lily and Debbie, do you, okay, so go ahead and you can, you're in, okay, so you can close that, yeah, and you can close that window too, because we don't need the lunch meeting. Okay, and you can close your email. You have, right, so open a new window, go to sbcc.edu. Tap your return.
Yeah.
Pipeline on your left.
Yeah, I go to pipeline.
Uh-huh.
And now I just.
Okay, so something that's wrong there is that's taking you to ASLADEC at Pipeline SBCU. You only need to put the first part, ASLADEK. That's it. That's probably why it's not going in. So don't click on that because that's wrong. Click
Okay.
on the window, click on the little box and type in just the first part. Yeah, click in there.
I'm clicking there, but it's not disappearing.
Start typing, type ASLAD.
Oh.
No? Okay, then click where it says password. Let's see if that helps. There,
Oh,
now
okay,
retype
I know.
it. Okay, now correct that. So that was the problem there. You're trying to get into that with your whole pipeline thing and it's not. Okay, that's all. And now go to your password and type in your password. And it'll say, do you want to remember this new way to access? And you should definitely remember it because it's just been remembering the wrong thing. Log in, say yes, save password up there at the top.
Save password, okay.
Yeah, so now it knows. Okay, there you go. Student on credit, a little bit higher up. To the left, half an inch. Yep, there we go. And then on the
Okay.
far right, there's the Google Drive. Up at the
Yeah.
top. Yep, there it is, Google Drive. And then on the left, shared drive. So that was the issue. You were just signing in with your whole pipeline.
Yeah,
that's
now,
why you weren't able
the
to
email, now I get
double click
this,
in there.
I'm all the way here, but now.
Double
to
click and get it.
email,
Wait, one more time. Double click in there, one more. There we go. Okay.
That's
So what were
everything.
you asking it? So this is where you have your handouts. Leave it open there. So you're asking about how to
Okay.
get your emails?
Yeah, now email, I don't
Okay,
get
go back.
anything from you.
Okay,
now
go
I
up to, okay, wait, don't back up. Up,
Okay.
right up, move your mouse up and see where it says student on credit. One up, a little bit higher to the tab. Yeah, click on that tab. Oh, nope, down, you're right there, that tab. Yeah, click.
Okay,
Okay, now scroll down a bit because you're not, okay, go to the email right there.
right there.
And let's see if you're not getting, there it
Now
is,
those
Diana
two-
Musacchio.
Now, those two are from last October.
Wow.
Yeah,
Uh,
if I look at that.
yeah, October
31st.
31st. Okay, so that is definitely a problem.
last class.
Wait, away. I'm seeing there on the right, do you have a filter? You have a filter on that. So there where it says away, click on that word away, right above your mouse. You had a little thing that says away. That's a filter. You have it set as away. You're telling people you're not here. Go back to automatic. Go down.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And then, no, that's different. That's your chat. You have something in your settings. You know what? This is the limit of how much I can help you with this. You definitely need to go on to Zoom and show them this and say, I haven't received anything since October and I'm in her classes all the time. Something's not up and they can, I don't know here, you have something set up that is not letting you see your email. I don't know what it is.
Okay,
Okay, so definitely go to student tech support. There's something in the settings that you must have, but I definitely need to start getting ready for my,
yeah, I understand.
for my, it's not here, it's it's in the see all settings and I don't know right now what, a bit higher up where it says see all settings, click on that.
Yeah.
Go move up, yeah. And those are all your Google Chrome settings and I don't know if you have something set here that is stopping the email or if it's truly your pipeline account that they need to fix at IT level that maybe is making things not pop in. I don't know. I'm out of my depth here. Because many times pipeline accounts aren't set up correctly at school level. They need to fix it. So this is clearly a tech support question where I have no idea why you're not getting them.
Okay,
All right.
okay, well, thank
So
you.
you're welcome. At least you got to your handouts.
Yeah, at least I got that.
All right, guys, it's 5 p.m. I gotta go. I have to start teaching in half an hour for a whole nother 4 hours. So I need a little break.
Have
See
a
you
good
guys next
weekend.
week.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.